Sticky notes, so I don't notice it.
Hey guys, I'm here up in command. Obviously, you can hear we're on Discord here. We're getting ready to have our panel interview with Rich Horn, JK, Ghost Gramps, as well as Sean Cruchet. So if there's any questions, if you guys have anything that you would like to know, please feel free to reach out, and I will try to answer them through the chat here. I'll try and monitor it and send off any questions that you have. Other than that, I'm going to be heading down there here in just a moment, and yeah, we'll get this party started.
Yeah, raffle. We're going to give some stuff away. Bracelet, and, a light, a ghost light, and a couple other things.
I think the way we're doing this drawing is one drawing per speaker. And that way people,
Right.
And you guys weren't here, but what we're giving away.
Hey, Zombie. We're starting out here. I'm getting ready to head out and go downstairs for the panel interview. So please stay tuned in and ask me any questions you have, and I'll send them off to the panel. So I'm heading out downstairs. We'll see you in a few. Hey, Wani. What's up, dude? There you go. I'm heading out of command, guys, so I'll see you in a bit. I gotta go down there. They're waiting for me, I think.
John's going to be giving away a bracelet. And then when we finish the panel discussion, we'll do the drawing, the S box here. You don't like my house? What's the brand new S box?
Oh.
What's brand new? About $20 here. So yeah, we'll have a drawing for that. So whoever wants that. So if you want to, we'll put your name on. What's the present to me? Oh, that's fine. So we get.
Just making sure that the rest of that to be met over so they can sign it.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought just on this side.
No, I was boycotting on y'all because you didn't. I said, come on, spread out, y'all. Okay.
Are we live, Jason?
Yeah, we are.
Hey, everybody. I have people, if they want to ask questions on here also. I have it up, so. Okay, so you got chats. All right, guys. Go ahead. Mr. Sean, appreciate it. Everybody knows him. I know him from, what all shows you been on, Sean? What all shows have you been on?
Oh, okay.
Here.
All right, here's
Come
your,
on.
you guys gonna do
Here,
it?
this is your minutes.
Matt, you have to sign one too.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Thank you. Ready to Sean up first? Sit down here.
I warned you ahead of time, Al. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody.
There you go.
Can you hear it? Do that?
There you go.
Okay. So what,
Gotta hold it close.
okay,
Or we
I
can turn the volume.
can't do in tune with this, so I'd rather just do loud.
Okay.
Can everybody hear me in the back? Okay. All right, Al. Yeah, that's probably bad, right? So I had an opportunity, each opportunity for television, came out of nowhere. The very first opportunity, I was in, investigation in Cripple Creek at the Outlaw and Llamas Jail Museum. I invited, we were kind of doing a public event for fundraising. We did a stream that kind of, we had several different purposes that were obviously one of them is actually for soldiers and so forth. But we had a really nice event. You're going to fold it in fours. Oh, you already good? Do me a favor and are you going to pull? I don't want to pull them.
I thought maybe Kylie would do it.
Okay, all right, sounds good. But Richard Estep is one of the folks that I invited to the investigation. At the investigation, I played an extremely low-key role. I had my 11 bags of equipment with me, and I was divvying out the equipment to the people at the Outlaw and Llamas Jail Museum. If you know anything about the Outlaw and Llamas Jail Museum, this would echo through the entire place. So it's extremely difficult to capture any valid data. But in the middle of the event, in the basement of the Outlaw and Llamas Jail Museum, they captured what sounded like somebody actually being strangled. And so the two young folks that were in the basement, I think you guys happen to know him. It's the one might have come with you guys to come do this. What's his name? The guy from Loveland or Longmont, the single kid. Yeah. No, he can't, not Jim. He was in the basement. He was 20 at the time. He's kind of a little bit arrogant. But he captured that. I went through all the audio because as anybody that does this knows, there's generally only one person that does most of the review when you're doing an investigation. I cut that down, cropped it, and showed everybody what they had captured. And that kind of energized the environment. It was really, we were all of a sudden from, everybody's hearing every single thing that happens to, right, really energizing the environment. And then we kind of kept going, and we took a break. If you look at the episode of Haunted Case Files, it's called An Imaginary Friend, because it's a segment where there's three segments, like 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes, you know, with obviously all the breaks in between. And ours is the third one that talks about the Outlaw and Llamas Jail Museum. I saw what I thought was Richard. I waved to him before seeing him. I went to the restroom because we were on a break and can't make noise, right? Came back up around the tier, but as I went to the restroom, I saw him on the upper tier taking snapshots. And so as I came back up and around, I saw him and I thought he was taking more photos, and I didn't want to be in the photos because I thought he was trying to capture stuff and I didn't want to get in the way. But I nodded to him and then proceeded to the Outlaw and Llamas Jail Museum into the cells. The cells, if you know anything about Outlaw and Llamas Jail Museum, when you get into the upper cells, it's just one way in and one way out. And he had a fellow investigator sitting on the floor. I didn't know he was doing an investigation or EVP session with lights on and everybody doing the run around, restroom breaks, etc. But she was sitting there. So I began to talk to her. And as I began to talk to her, Richard talked to me from one of the cells. And I'm like, what? I just nodded to you out there thinking, what the heck was that? I'm like, went back and forth. You're fucking with me. No, you're fucking with me. No, we went back and forth like 3 or 4 times. I basically saw him outside the cell, but he was in the cells. I've never experienced anything like that. I'll be honest, it kind of got him a little disheveled. He left after we went with the repartee of, you're fucking with me, you're fucking with me. He left because he's like, the rumor is if you see your own doppelganger, you're not going to stay around too much longer. So, he's on a lot of shows. He's recounting.
With the Haunted Hospital series, right?
Haunted Hospitals, Paranormal 911. There's a whole bunch that he's been on. He's written about 14 different books. But he was talking to the producers in Toronto and said, hey, we need somebody to kind of talk about what happened, because he was explaining what had happened. And so they flew me out to Toronto to kind of recount this. And if you look, I don't quite look like I looked on it, because they always do the actors. I'm like, that doesn't quite look like me, but thank you. I don't know. It's a much younger version of me. I'm like, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. So that was kind of my first introduction to that piece of things. One of the things you should know, don't trust everybody that's in that, because they're going to take your words and they're going to change them and twist them. Okay, I'm just being honest to you, because they asked me how scary it was. Remember, I'm going, what the heck was that? I'm not scared by this. We're just trying to figure this out. I'm up there picking up equipment and changing batteries and stuff. So I'm going, okay. I know it was weird, but it sure the hell didn't scare me. But they acted like we bolted, right? Didn't they say like we ran? Like that doesn't freaking make sense.
They did that with Rich. They did an interview with you, and they made you at the end of the interview say a certain sentence, right? And then they dubbed it in.
I literally told him.
You repeat these phrases. I was so scared like I've never been before. They just had a list of crazy.
I think unfortunately they just already knew I had already said their key phrase and they didn't have me repeat them, because they're like, we're going to cut and paste that one. They were like, okay, we already got what we needed. We're going to use that one over here, because they took and said, I said something about, they asked me what did Richard say when he was, the doppelganger. And he said, well, it was pretty scary. It was like, kind of like the scariest night of your life or something. I can't remember what he had actually said to me. I repeated it. And they turned that, like I said, it was my scariest. I'm like, no, I wasn't scared. We were still there. We still hung out. That was like halfway through the session. So we weren't done. So, but he made it out like we immediately packed up and hit the road. So you got to be careful when they hit you up to kind of do these things. Now,
I want you to share with them a little bit about the McCormick farm.
that's the next transition.
Did anybody see that episode? Yeah.
Anybody? Portals to Hell? Yeah,
Because that was an interesting case. John went in, I'll let you tell the whole story, how they set it up. You didn't know.
you can start.
So they didn't tell you the location or anywhere to go until like a day before they started shooting, right?
I think
Then they told you to go to a little town.
what they did is they did an interview with me saying, we have something, we can't tell you where it is. So I had to do an actual video interview with the producer. I had to do a separate interview that was tape recorded to send to the network. The network approved me. And then he said, we will get back to you. And then they pre-positioned me to a certain hotel, separate from everybody, because they didn't want me to be interacting with anybody from the show. Like the production crew and everybody was there in one of the other hotels. But they wanted to keep me separate. I couldn't actually interact with them until after
They didn't want you to know anything about
right.
anything.
So I went in blind. He set me up in Burlington, Colorado in a hotel. He said, hey, we're running late. You're going to have to stay late. You're going to have to stay an extra day. So we finally, when time came, he had me drive out to a certain place to meet them. And then once I was just parked there in with the production crew waiting for my time to go. So they brought me from SUV to the spot. And immediately I get out of the vehicle and I meet Jack Osborne, Ozzy Osbourne's son, and Katrina Weidman, which is a very, very famous, and I think she's a very phenomenal. She's very, 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 I mean, she's really strict when it comes to, I met him, jumped out. I told him the part of the thing that
Yeah, you had no knowledge of anything there.
well, I'm about to tell you, this is exactly what I did. I had Spirit coming to me before I actually got there. So in actuality, Spirit was already forewarning me before I got there. I had 3 visits before I actually went there. They interacted with me between 11:15 to like 12:15 at night. They visited me different nights at my house. So they obviously knew I was coming. So Spirit actually visited me ahead of time. And so I was talking to the producer about this. I'm going, okay, I'm getting this. He's still not telling me anything, right? I would tell him stuff and say, and he said, well, tell them, you know, and so, okay, I'll tell them. And I had all this documented because, you know, my memory sucks. So I had to write it down.
Just your memory.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I think my hair's sucking inside and not coming out for some reason. So I get there, I do the walk around. It's actually a 4.5 hour walk around of the farm. So we're going building to building. We're traipsing through fields, we're traipsing through the farm in the middle of the freaking darkness. Okay. It's chilly. I think it was like October, when we actually filmed it. One of the first locations they took me to was this, like, looks like a tire shop or something. And it just had this overwhelming sense of like, just heaviness, you know, just really, really kind of felt heavy, but I didn't interact with anything intelligent. But then we kept going through all of these locations. We went through a big building that had a whole bunch of different equipment. And I kept getting a lot of pain associated with the stomach region. And I go, okay, this is intelligent. It's interacting. Not only is it interacting, but it's also messing with Jack. Meanwhile, it was consistently, I think it messed with Jack like 6 times during the episode. It would like run up behind him and it scared him.
Yeah, he was kind of freaked out.
Well, he has reason to, because it ran up on him it kept doing it to him. I think because it knew it was getting to him. You know, he freaked out quite a few times. But you don't see that because, you know, it was repetitive.
The point of your story that I wanted to point out to
Yeah.
everybody, anybody that believes that stuff is scripted, he had no knowledge of anything.
Yes.
And if you watch the program, he was spot on all of his.
Remember, whatever comes through is what I tell people. It has nothing to do with anything other than what comes through. And a true psychic is just going to tell you what's coming through and nothing extra. You know, because I'm not going to translate what comes through. I'm not going to tell you anything extra. I'm not going to translate a message that's being delivered because that's exactly what comes through. You know, like if Through the New Labs comes through for your uncle, that's your uncle? Yeah. And I'm just going to tell you, I don't know what the hell this is, but this is what's coming through, you know? Basically, when we got to the bunkhouse, what you don't see, and that's the kind of things that I like to share, what you don't see from the episode is that I was actually scratched twice. I was scratched the first time in the bunkhouse on my shin. And then I kind of blew it off. I'm like, well, I don't want to claim it. I don't want to, because we were in the fields, and I had high tall boots on, but it was weird that I would be scratched right there. And then, we made a loop, did some other stuff, and then we went back into the bunkhouse to kind of sit down and kind of rehash and talk about everything. And, that's when it happened again. So I think because I blew off the first one, being scratched, they didn't kind of initiate talking about the second one because it happened twice. I know for a fact, and that's where something dark was. And if you know anything about the episode, there's an actual, the farmers that were there chose to, rather than pay some of their workers, they killed them. And I believe it was the younger of the two that actually killed the workers instead of actually having to pay them. So, and then they buried them on the farm, and they haven't really found everything. And I tried to tune in to where some of them were at, and I know there's an area, but it was very difficult with being surrounded by, two cameramen, Jack, Katrina, producer, secondary producer, so all of this is very difficult with
That's
that much.
another thing too. Finding items or stuff is not really your forte.
It isn't generally, that's not my expertise. My expertise is dealing with spirit and kind of help them if possible. I'm more of a physical medium. I can feel the pains associated with them at the end of their life. And that's how I was able to key in on things for the show. And that's how I locate spirit here in the monastery. Earlier, I kind of talked a lot about gifts and developing gifts and so forth. Anything else you want to hear about from, I know that several of you have seen the shows. Any questions? I got a dust smell, and I also got a sulfur smell associated with the one in the bunkhouse. And I do know that for a fact. The other ones only gave me actual physical pains. Whenever I get something that's a dust smell, I always associate with something older, something that's been gone a long time, or something ancient or antiquated. I have asked a lot of other psychics, what is this? And nobody ever could tell me. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to have to figure it out for myself. And that's what I've come to figure out is something that's older, something that's ancient. So, they did that as a season opener for their season 2, I believe. And it was a 2-hour or 3-hour special. I forgot, 2-hour special. But was it a great experience? Yes. These guys didn't take me out of context like the other guys. So, I guess to each his own on, how you're going to be portrayed, I'm not going to talk bad about that, because they have to do ratings. And I understand that. You understand that, they have to do ratings.
Well, I never opted to do any of it.
But at the same time, doing it as a psychic and walking out blind is truly, I think that's actually better just to demonstrate and show my gift and kind of allow people to see what's going on. So let's talk a little bit about protection. I know that a lot of you guys have your own protection methods when you're investigating. Let's start over here. Misty, what do you do as you kind of begin to enter a location? You've been to a lot of haunted locations. What kind of things do you do for protection?
Rose quartz, and people don't think that works, but that's what works for me. I feel protected with it, so I'm never.
Well, for me,
When I'm done,
I know a lot about crystals, and I'm working with a lot of crystals because they make bracelets. And I also do know that rose quartz itself is a connection that heals the heart. And if you're doing your work through your heart, which obviously you're connecting through your heart when you're connecting and you're potentially feeling sad or sorrowful for something that's.
Yeah.
So I can see that it is definitely protecting you in one way. Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for anybody in that location. You're going into their home,
Right.
so you have.
We'll
to
talk a little bit about the 3 methods to make
Yeah.
them a little bit stronger.
Yep.
Protection.
Just kind of vague, I just call myself and ask for protection. Don't really have any procedure.
Got to remember that everybody's method is what works for them.
Yeah.
So you have to have faith in what with what you're doing and because 3/4 of it is your own strength.
Absolutely.
So how about yourself?
I really don't do anything.
No?
It's like I could draw my energy in, but then I wouldn't experience it.
That's true. If you draw your energy in, you don't open yourself. Technically, when I'm opening myself, like on the case, I'm actually trying to feel the environment by opening my energy wider. So I don't draw it in, like you're saying, but at the same time, I know that I'm protected. If I need to, I just call in Archangel Michael. We all have our own methods and to actually interact with you don't want to shut down things. Is that the question?
Fair question.
Okay, what's the question?
Zombie Slayer wants to know, does saying "leave me alone" generally work, or is that just a big no?
As long as you're respectful with anything, it's like, it's basically just saying, like anything, like, Dennis, stop farting on me. I know Zombie directly, so, see, I'm sure that she resonates with the fact that, hey, I appreciate your interaction. Just be kind to me. I'm kind to you. I always say respect is the best way to go, no matter what. Boundaries with humans, boundaries with spirits. Hey, please don't. Anything out, Rich? Yeah. That's how babies are. I'm just saying. Then
Bring it. I don't ever worry about it, actually.
well, you already have protection with you, right?
I've got,
A lot of the spirits roll with you anyway, right?
Yeah.
To watch over you. I think for sure we've had a couple of female, the one girl that smells a little bit like smoke, and then also Philip. Yeah. It's always a blessing when they got your back anyway.
and you'll see in my streams, everybody knows my guide is Philip. I always ask when things start getting a little tense, if Philip was with me, or Felipe,
Yeah.
because he's from Argentina. His name is Felipe, but we call him Philip. They call him. Yeah, and Philip always comes through, and I know I'm good.
Yeah. You exploring,
Exploring Band-Aid, we're good.
James?
It's the first time I've ever done it. So
You said you just bring it on. Is that what you said?
I want to hear from Karina. What do you do for protection? I can't hear you.
She's shy. That makes sense. I understand. A lot of my friends do that. I want to interact with something, so I don't want to necessarily keep it at bay. So I have to kind of identify what's there. But you're right, as somebody that, you're just starting this out, I think that's a really good idea. I've been gifted several of them. I just want to know the intentions behind what they put together for me before I would actually receive it.
I'm still working on figuring stuff out, but I'll do research from you that keep it working.
I find that from a bracelet standpoint, for me, as I don't know, I guess as the masculine energy, I find black tourmaline, hematite, and tiger's eye. And the hematite has a chance, it deflects negative energy away from. So I've actually physically had them hit me and then go away. So I feel it hit the actual bracelet and it stops it. But since that point, I want to interact and I want to know. So I want to fully open myself and not, only call in Archangel Michael, because when I first started, that was exactly how I wanted to protect my energy until my gifts advanced more.
And last night, the hand was doing numb and tingly. It felt like Kevin was trying to hack
So
the
you
bracelet,
withdraw.
but it kept pulling it, pulled back to the bracelet.
A little meditation sometimes.
Ahead of
That's a
time?
higher power spirit guides, which I don't know yet, or loved ones, certain loved ones, to just, watch over me, protect me.
Anything?
For me,
Yes, sir.
typically mine is just pure brute force kind of thing. I just, you know, like I don't go in afraid. I go in with the confidence.
That's the thing I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about for a second.
Yeah.
Back there. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to bypass you. You're on his.
You gotta understand too, Jason.
I'm sorry.
Who Jason's dad was. Jason's been doing this since he was I mean, most families went to Disneyland. I'd take them to haunted hotels.
Yeah.
And then you shake your hand.
I mean, it's evident. Look at what his grandson's doing, right? I mean, he was here last year, this is the second annual one coming. He's 7 tomorrow. So, I mean, for a 7-year-old to be coming out to a pretty intense place like this that it can be with the amount of people that are here, and unfamiliar territory and faces and stuff. I mean, it's pretty impressive.
How about you folks? How many investigations you been on? 3? Just starting out? How about the other piece of things? Protection. What do you do? Anything? Just feeling it out, feeling if it's safe. That's the best method, is knowing, you know, understanding that you go with your intuition. I'm going to come back to you. That you have to definitely trust in dangers, like, you know, going down that alley in Afghanistan and going, ooh, that doesn't look safe. So you just go with your gut, you go with your intuition. Yeah. And then if you do feel like it's approaching you and you feel it in a bad situation, then call in additional protection.
So I'm still actually trying to learn how to play myself.
All I heard was run the shop.
The very story. I'm figure out some time to learn how to protect myself. I've always been sensitive to it, my to the things being. But, close to that.
All you have to do is stay grounded, close yourself off, and ask for protection. It's that simple. It's just that simple. You know, if you call in Archangel Michael, if you believe in whatever you believe in, call it in, and being grounded, being centered, and being calm is number one. Okay, because the number one thing you could do to empower spirit is to get fearful, get afraid. You know, and that's one of the things. If you start yelling at the spirit, provoking it, you're gonna kind of just now you're moving it up a bar. I was in a location, serial killer house in Carmel, Indiana, and the team that I was with, which I was not a part of, provoked something. And it was so strong after they did this, which was the stupidest thing they could do. It was so strong that actually physically, when the entity, I know exactly what it was, but I'm not going to say it here, shook my leg. It was so strong that it was pissed. And I was lucky that it did not push me down. It came by me and my leg went like that. And they were looking at me going, what was that? I'm like, you tell me, you know, they just had done it. And I'm like, I was not involved in it. So don't provoke and don't show fear. The other thing is feeding it some sort of a EMF. It can feed off of, you know, like the heaters, like in command, the something that's throwing a lot of EMF. They feed off of that. But the number one thing that they're going to feed off is your fear. You know, security cat doesn't necessarily work out.
Once you let them in, they got you.
Yeah, you're letting them in because you're fearful. Why do you think he does go up? Because he's not afraid. You know, fear is what drives everything. Second you run for the hills, they're like, ha ha. How about back there, SoCal?
I tried stage it before, but it's just seemed like temporary thing. But I think,
You gotta speak my
it
ears.
worked for me. You just ignore it and stop it yourself. That's what.
Okay, ignoring it, being yourself, I think I heard those things. Sage. Okay, when I go in a house, when I go in cleansing, I do a lot of different things. My very first thing to do, which is very, very basic, I break up sage into small pieces. I do cedar, Palo Santo, and sage. So I break Palo Santo into dust form, and then I can burn all three of those simultaneously. And that's just an initial clearing of energy. It has nothing to do with, you're not going to get rid of anything that's a positive energy. I always tell people, hey, if your loved ones are visiting you and you didn't necessarily get along when you're alive, you're not clearing them out of there. I apologize. That's just the fact. You can ask them to leave. You can be, please, please, I don't need you to watch over me. But at the same time, you're not going to just magically clear them out of there. But there's other methods. I go up a level with reflective surfaces, holy water, and frankincense and myrrh, and a lot of other things to go to kind of the next level if we start to get a little bit darker. JK, what do you do?
Oh, man, I think it's all intent, you know, your intentions are entering the location, but what I'll do is I'll kneel down, I'll ask Native American brothers to come in, I'll ask my family brothers, my brother to help protect it with my spirit.
What do you think that does to you?
It makes me feel connected.
Hello, that's what you need. You need to stay grounded and feel centered and protected. That's exactly what he does. He already feels that way. That's what Al already feels. So when you go into a location, be that way. Don't be afraid. You know, exactly. Whatever gives you that strength is what, if it's God, if it's Archangel Michael, if it's anything, what gives you strength is what gets you through. What else do you want me to kind of address?
You were going to come back to.
I was talking about those three things. That was what I was addressing is how it was empower spirit. You know, like you shouldn't be a fearful. You know, you definitely don't want to provoke a spirit. The only way I say that it's legit to provoke a spirit is if something won't show itself. It will not show itself. You have to provoke only so that it'll show itself, especially if it's affecting a child. Then I would say that's the only way I would provoke. It has to show itself. I've been scratched probably 10 times in locations, but that was probably my own fault for being in their space. You know, it happens, you know, you're learning, you're figuring things out. I was in Silent 49 and I got scratched 6 times. But I slept there for 3 days. So, you know, it's a matter of protection. At the same time, I always say, they're just saying, we don't want you here. You know, we are stronger than any spirit. You know, they just didn't want me there. I wasn't scared. I slept there for 3 days, you know.
See, if I start to feel that fear, where I'll leave thoughts on spirit,
The white light, the bubble, you know, that is probably where I would say my very first inclination is to envision a white light coming from heaven, however you believe in your higher power to give you kind of that sense of being grounded and centered, and then have that white light encompass you and bubble you and protect you. And that's what's giving you the sense of being grounded and centered so that you don't elevate your energy, so your anxiety doesn't go through the roof, so that your fear doesn't join that anxiety, and that you can kind of continue to do whatever you're working through. I believe partially the military training was intended to kind of help me in this side of things.
So how does is there a way anybody can contact you? Tell us a little bit about it. If somebody wants to get a hold of you or.
It's probably best right now because my webpage guy is kind of, let's just say he's 420 right now. He's literally 420. So it'd probably be best to hit me on my Facebook page and kind of reach out. That's how I book my readings for the most.
What's your Facebook page?
It's Sean Cruchet. You can do, that's my Sean Cruchet medium.
It's
Psychic
crushing.
Cruchet, Crusha, if you want to, reach out. The main thing that people come to me for is I can see things for the future. And that's 3/4 of the reason I have a lot of repeat clients. People come to me for advice in love, and business, and mediumship. They don't hit me up as much, but they do also do that as well.
Now, you also do psychic development classes as well.
Yes, I do psychic. That's kind of what we were talking about this morning. You weren't quite
There yet?
awake yet. We talked a lot about, collectively with most of this crew here, talking about what I do with psychic development. We could go probably another hour or 2 hours talking psychic development, but a lot of psychic development is strictly trusting. Like when the environment doesn't feel right, that maybe we'll take a break here. In one instance, a couple years ago, and we're going to relate this because we were in a podcast and it was kind of funny. I was in the basement. I was with my other team that I had started with, and we were in the basement and I was changing the IR light. I backed out of the situation because I saw the guy with the red eyes, and I got somebody to watch my back while I was changing stuff, and because energetically I didn't feel safe, and I got an EVP since they called me a silly little boy. I'm sorry. Yes, so it wasn't negative. It just called me goofball. You know how it goes. Yeah. So psychic development is an ongoing thing. The more, like somebody was asking me this morning about California psychics, if they're real, and every psychic is growing at their own pace. So if some are better than others, it's because most of the time it's because they're actually working on it harder. And there are no two psychics that are alike. The gifts are changing constantly because every psychic has to develop their own signs and symbols for their guides to show them. A lot of people work through imagery, like, what does the tree mean to you if they show you that? For me, it means growth, like something's going to grow. Like it could be like, okay, they show me a rose and they show me the tree. That means there's going to be a growth of romance. There's going to be a growth. Bubblegum, I get smells. Associated with a female child, I get bubblegum. Associated with a boy, I generally get like a lollipop, candy smell.
Dusty.
Yeah, the dust, we kind of talked about an ancient or an antiquated smell. We smelled how many different kinds of cherry tobacco. You even experienced that. Yeah, we got whiskey for the very first time over where they actually didn't they do sessions over there for like counseling for alcohol? I think that they did over in, we got that smell. Yes, was it yesterday or the day before? Thursday. What's that?
Over at Ula.
Ula store, yeah. So, all of these are signs that somebody's present, right?
Cigarettes.
Yeah, with cigarettes, cherry tobacco, all of those things. Okay, so we're gonna do probably a sit down and additional questions, but do you have any other questions you want me to draw?
Yeah, we'll draw, everybody got their name in the hat? What should it be for? The ghost light?
No, this is, I'm the speaker. This is a bracelet.
Okay,
Cool.
okay, so this is for the bracelet.
Did I let one of you guys pick? How about letting him pick?
Yeah, in front of the camera.
Please. Couldn't. Karina.
So you have to get with me and I'll get it
I'll get it for you. I can even make one special for you. Is that good? Okay.
It's funny how spirit works, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll put this in my pocket.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
All right. So what we're gonna do now, we'll break up a little bit, give you guys a little stretch and whatnot. We'll go over into the library, or you can mingle around here. Misty's brought some, did you bring the mausoleums?
Yep.
Okay, so you guys have seen in my string the little red pot mausoleum. She's brought a few. They'll have them for sale if you want them. If you need some ghost lights, talk with Rich. He's got his order back. Yeah, and
then Rich is speaking next about it.
then we'll come back here. And I think what I'm gonna do, if it's okay with Marina, I'd like to slip you in. If you're comfortable talking to everybody. Karina is I don't know how many of you, I think just about everybody taught her on my stream last week. What an amazing kid. And I'm excited that she made it today because she has a lot of information that I want her to share with you guys.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. So we'll do that in about, we'll take a little break and then we'll come back and then.
Let's give everybody a time so that we are actually back.
What's that?
Give us a time, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
20 minutes.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So 2:20.
Make it be photos over there. You gotta go, everybody take photos. Add your phone number in there. You can pick and choose whatever photos you want to keep, but there'll be an album of every photo that is taken in that group. And you can do gifts, you can do, there's little backgrounds with teasers or what's up grants, or you can go with, things like code. But it's a fun photo.
Good job.
Definitely get some pictures there. If you need one of us and you wanna take a picture with us.
Is it really there?
Is it really there?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I didn't see it.
Be careful. Weird.
Oh, it's in the little square in the corner. Yeah, when you go this, yeah, it's in the square in the corner.
Oh, never mind.
That's, what do I need to do to kind of take a break there?
Oh, Katrina. Okay. At least Katrina.
Yeah, it starts the battery or whatever. I would suggest just move the phone over next to a plug and plug it in and let it stay running.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, I've got a porta charger. And did we need to, I was worried about cutting his head off.
Yeah, he kept scooting up and doing it, but I mean, for the most part, I mean, it's, and I have it.
Yeah, 35%. I'm gonna run and get my.
I turn mine.
Doing some stuff with us.
What?
What are we doing?
Break, 20 minutes.
No?
You must have found.
Thank you.
I'm 100%.
Thank you. So what I do, just keep it with me? Okay.
Yeah. I just-
What's that?
There's
Well,
trees,
I'm
cinnamon,
really stupid.
babies,
It's just shit. But, you know,
and lavender.
Jack is so skittish.
Cool. We got.
All right, are you bringing in the porta charger for this phone?
Yeah.
All right, because like I said, I can move it next to a socket and we can just have it kind of view the whole room for right now if you want. From wherever you want, yep. As long as there's a plug up there. Hey, I'll move it up there for a minute. Hey, Cal. All right, guys, as you can tell, we're taking a wee bit of a break here. But we'll be back in like 20 minutes or so. So we're just going to kind of leave you here on the auditorium so you can see what's going on. And we're going to let our phones charge and everything. And everyone get a drink, go to the restroom, you know, that sort of thing. So I'm going to head up to command and I'll see you guys in a sec. Monty, to answer your question, sir, I think we're coming back about right around 2:20.
Can you put it on the other side?
Hey guys, I'm back in command here. So as you can see, we're taking a break. So everyone's kind of getting a drink, going to the bathroom, you know, all that kind of sort of fun stuff. So again, hope you're enjoying the content. Hope everyone was able to hear and see what's going on there with Mr. Cruchet. If you have any questions, if you have anything that you really would like to maybe have addressed from any of our panelists, please just go ahead and write your questions in chat, and I will try to address them to the panel as quickly as I can so you guys can get your answers. And then again, if you're enjoying it and want to see more from the individual speakers, feel free to reach out and we can put you in contact with the individuals that you would like to maybe get more information about or set up a reading, like specifically with Sean or you know, anything like that. Just let us know and we can make it happen. So it looks like we're taking a break until about 2:20 our time. Haunted planes. Are you talking like celestial planes or are you talking like actual airplanes? Be more specific, Zombie. But yeah, we're going to be here doing this panel for a couple more hours. We have Karina coming in. She's going to be explaining some of her stuff that she does. It's going to be absolutely awesome. She's such a firecracker, such a great little little young woman. I mean, she's just brilliant. She's got insights that are well beyond her years. So copy. I will ask. I'll ask about that for you, Zombie. As well as you know, we got Mr. Rich Horn here as well. He's going to be explaining some of his experiences. He's also got some really cool product that he makes, some ghost lights and stuff. For anybody out there who's interested in ghost hunting and paranormal investigating, more specifically, he's got some really fantastic devices that would be very useful. So we can shout him out and check him out here when he's up. You can go and check out his stuff. Oh, you have one. You have one. Absolutely, I want to hear it. I thought you were talking about other people, and yeah. I'm sorry. Hey, here's a Gramps here, guys. He's coming in. Look at this young man. He's a perky old man today.
Feeling a lot better.
Yeah, he looks a little better today. I guess I won't have to drag his ass to the hospital today.
I told you I was on the mend last night.
Yeah, he's on the mend.
Charger, that's what it is.
Yeah, just a regular phone charger. You're up on the mezzanine right now, so you can go plug her in. You can see where it's at. It's right there. And he's off, folks. That was a cameo. But anyway, guys, yeah, so we have Rich coming in. We got Gramps coming in. He's going to be talking today. The panel is going to be a lot of fun, as you can tell with Sean already kind of leading off the charge here. We got a lot of really extremely experienced people in their specific fields and in the paranormal field as well. And please don't be afraid to ask them any questions. There's nothing considered a stupid or a bad question. So, to kill time, bad choice of words, probably. Yeah, Zombie, tell me your story. I want to hear it. I'm all about it. And that's Gramps just plugging in his phone. Hi, bro. He's moving around. Perfect. That looks good.
There we go.
There we go. Looks good, Dennis. Okay, so this flight goes down and a lot of people, including the crew, were killed. The airline took parts that were still usable from the plane and put them in the exact same model. Not long after, people began seeing the dead crew. Eventually, so many sightings were reported that they eventually pulled the parts out. Don't think they make the type of plane anymore. Interesting. How long ago was this, Zombie? Is this more of like a fairly recent occurrence, or is this a kind of more in the past? I don't know where they're at. Cats would remember more, huh? Okay, we'll ask Cats. She happens to be right here. About the haunted plane, where they had a crew and all the passengers die in a plane. They took the parts and put them into another plane, and then the haunted crew was on it.
On multiple planes, yes.
On multiple planes. How long ago was this? Like, is this more of a recent?
Probably within the last 20 years, maybe.
Last 20 years.
Fairly recent.
Wow, yeah, that is pretty recent, yeah. And they went and removed all the parts from that plane that went down.
Yeah, so when they salvaged the downed plane, there was still a lot of parts.
Right.
That were still good for damage.
Right.
And plane parts are expensive, so the company just put them back in stock and used them to repair other planes.
Mhm.
And then all of the planes that had one of those parts, they started getting paranormal experiences and stuff, and so they went and had to actually replace all those parts.
Wow, that's crazy. Yep, it's exactly how you said, Zombie. And they want you to come say hi. They want you to come say hi. Why is it on backwards?
Because it's on the back.
Because women's got bumps. So Sean said put the logos on the back. So that's when I put them on the back.
Oh, fuck, I've been wearing mine wrong the whole time.
You wonder
Cats, come say hi.
Why your neck's itchy?
That's right, because you're.
Yeah. I didn't
There's
agree
people
with
saying,
it either,
say hi.
but the last few weeks I haven't been in the mood to argue.
Hi, Zombie. I got my What's Up Gramps. Y'all check out his merch store.
Wanty's on?
Wanty is here. He was on, yes.
Where's he
Pumpkins.
at? Are you
He,
home?
he was in
He's in
Dallas.
Dallas.
He
Oh,
was on a
Dallas.
layover. He's actually boarding as we speak, and then he's going to hop on Wi-Fi and watch the rest of the show. Yeah, he's been in there. He's been moderating and helping out with chat, and then I've been having obviously the phone on in the back there and moderating and answering questions and stuff. Though. Thank you, Zombie.
So just a reminder, everybody, if you haven't gotten your What's Up Gramps t-shirt yet, log into his merch store.
Go
you
get it.
one.
See what Corinna gave me?
That's nice.
It's a health, for healing and health.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah,
Wow.
I can't wait till she.
Comes
I'm excited to have her share.
He's like, forget these old guys. I
Yeah.
know what they're gonna say.
I'm so blown away by her.
Yeah.
And it was odd. I mean, tell me it wasn't coincidence that I draw her name.
Right? Oh my gosh, it was
Yeah.
perfect. It was perfect. Yeah.
When they handed it back to me, I mean, there was a whole drama going on there. And then they handed it back to me, and
No, that was great. It was perfect. She's so deserving. Zombie, where's Grandma?
Grandma's downstairs getting her picture taken in the photo booth.
Nice. There you go. Now you had it. You had it right.
and
straight
you'll
from
get
the
to
mouth.
see all the photos when
Yeah.
everything that was taken on that booth. So they want to do a Frognado, by the way.
Yeah, we'll do it. Yeah.
So
All right, guys. Well, I will close up shop here in command. It looks like we got about 5 minutes before we're supposed to start again anyway. So I'm going to close off the camera. I'm going to shut down the mic. I think we're going to move that phone back to where it was, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You might grab an extension cord or something so we can keep it plugged in because I don't know how long that.
There's one down there. Great big mother.
Great big mother. But anyway, guys, we're going to go downstairs and get this panel thing set up again. And sometime within the next 5 minutes or so, we should be resuming. So.
Yeah, we got 4 or 5. Well, at least 3 more speakers. I think.
3 more speakers. All right. Closing down the camera, closing down the mic. We'll see you guys in a second.
I came in with 75%.
Hey, Dennis.
Yeah, right?
You don't need like.
All right, guys, moving you downstairs. Here we go. These stairs are steep as shit. See, look at that. Here we go. Hey, Dennis. Hello. Is it me you're looking for?
Is mine still on there?
Yeah, you're on there. You might pull it back towards you a little bit and twist it this way just a smidge. Yes, sir. I think that's pretty good. Is that all 4 seats? Yeah. Yeah, I think we're good there. Looks good, guys. What do you think? I think it looks good. Crap, I left my phone upstairs. I'm going. I'll be back.
Go up those stairs. Go on.
I
Yeah.
stopped my.
Okay.
You sure?
Let me get it right.
Hopefully you.
Why is everybody moving back? There's something else going on?
Not me.
Well, why are you guys all moving away from me? Do I stink or something? Everybody's just moving back. Okay, well, as long as I know it's. Huh? Right, I probably should. Now I washed my feet. I have milk spilled on me this morning. That's why he's saying that. At IHOP, and I was there almost 2 hours anyway. I don't know what she was doing. No, I just went. I just eggs and toast. That's all I did. And
Did they have to go to the store to hear?
everybody was complaining. I don't know what she's going on. She got me. To ask. I. And she. And milk. All of my life. Oh, okay. See, I should have stuck with my instinct. Let's say go to the place, but in the creamer is made on too. Top it off like a little. Yeah, I didn't have it.
Yes. We don't need it to be. Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna have to talk it. We're gonna. Like your back against here. Oh, he's here. Okay. All right. So we're good. We're ready. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Got a whole thing. Can you hear? Yeah, crank it up. I'm sitting next to her. I'm gonna go the other side just to make sure. Talk, keep talking. Just. Just. Give her. There we go, that's good. There you go. So guys that are on my stream when I was backing up all the water upstairs, I really needed a break. And God sent me Karina that day. Karina was doing a book report, doing a report on the app in general, the history of one. So she was gonna get the haunted twist. So she wanted to do an interview. And she made me quit working. And as we got to talking, now I've watched Rita, her mom works here. Her mom is, human resources and the accounting is all done. Yeah. So during the summertime, Rita spends a lot of kids' girls. I going through the hallways and places through the basement. She explored. The thing that impresses me, and you'll find out here as we talk, is her knowledge. And so and go ahead and you can talk into the mic. You're a white witch. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how you got into that. And then the story that you told me about Texas and stuff, and we'll get into that. I'll be asking her questions. So if any of you guys have questions, by all means answer them, because I know she has the answer. Yeah. So tell us a little bit how you got into it, how you got started. I do have your
your potions here. She made me a special one today for health, right? And we'll talk about how she came to how much whatever you put in here. That's what was impressive to me, was how much she knew about, oh, you use just a little bit of clove for confidence, because if you put too much clove, then it can turn on you. And so, yeah, let's just chat.
Well, I got into it because I figured it was cool with just like a little jar and certain herbs could influence someone's life. So, yeah. And in my opinion, it's not necessarily magic. Like, I don't think the jar, I think it does things, but I don't think it, like, literally will change people. I think it depends on if you believe in it and if you put your trust into it, that will actually change something.
You're right.
And so you don't use it. One thing I pointed out is like, tell me the difference between a potion and a hex. It's like here you got a potion and you've got a hex.
So normal spells are, like happiness spells, self-confidence spells, protection, things like that, where hex spells are not necessarily used to harm something, but they're used to like get rid of a negative energy or something that's bothering someone. So if you or yourself or you or other people is being bothered by something, whether that's a spirit or just, something that's bothering you, if you put a hex against it, that can kind of protect you against it and, kind of tell it to stop in a way.
So you told me an example of a hex sheet. See, typically if you've got the bully, the girl that was picking on you, instinctively, and my first impression was, yeah, I had this bully girl that was bullying me all the time. And so I made a hex. And I'm thinking, hex people. And explain what your hex, how you made your hex work for this bully.
So in that situation, he, was just being a bully. And I decided to try to do something with a spell to fix that. So, I made a spell. And along with that spell, I decided to change myself and change my attitude towards her, change the way I treated her, and that has got her to leave me alone.
So rather than put a hex on her, you put a hex on yourself.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. And that's something that I learned from your mom here and in talking to her after talking with you. Mom does have some say into this, and then I think she suggests that the hex go towards you and helps guide you in a direction that is healthy for everyone. Yeah.
So helps me alter my attitude towards people.
I'll bet she does.
Yeah. Make it better. Because it's always something you can do to help the situation. It's not telling the person to leave you alone. I mean, that'll help, but it doesn't always work. It works better if you fix yourself before you try to fix other people.
That's what I think's so cool. I mean, 12 years old and he has this knowing. So let's talk about your potions here. You were talking about, and I was interested in the hexes. And what are some of the things that you would add to a hex?
So
And how do you know that?
So normally with hexes, it's more of, things that people would relate to negative. So black peppercorns or chili flakes, things like that. So the way I think of it is it's not necessarily evil and it's not supposed to harm things, the hex. It's just kind of to tell it to quit, whatever it is.
And then you said like things like clove. First off, how do you find your potions? How do you know how much of whatever to add to a particular?
So there's no necessary amount. I mean, if you like follow spellbook recipes and it gives them out, then you follow that. But normally whatever draws your attention and whatever feels right, you put in.
But if you add too much clove, for instance, it can backfire.
So clove is interesting. It's a certain herb that's really strong. It has very strong energy. And it's kind of like something you have to persuade. If you persuade it to do good things, like depending on herbs you put it with, like putting clove with lavender will contribute a positive energy to clove. But if a clove is in with any sort of peppercorn or black salt, then it'll give it a negative effect, and that can sometimes alter potions and make it kind of turn on the purpose it has.
Cool. So you made me a health. What did you add to it?
So for like welfare and well-being spells, you'd add definitely citrine and quartz, because those can contribute to like positive health. Obviously lavender, because lavender helps with not only mental but sometimes like physical, like respiratory issues. I did put a clove in that to strengthen most of the herbs, and then oh yeah, cinnamon.
Cinnamon. I see the cinnamon. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's already working. It's already working. Anybody have any questions? Anybody? Yeah.
Go first. So for, like, say, if you do protection spells and then hexes, how do you know which one you're supposed to do? That a hex versus the protection potion?
Normally it depends on the severity of the situation. So if it's just like a bully, like someone's being rude, then either really works, because it depends on your attitude towards them. And like if there's a spirit or something that's bothering you, then you do self-protection, because that'll kind of draw it away.
Anybody?
So with purchasing herbs or other things for your potions or your hexes or whatever you're producing, is it better to actually go out and like pick herbs, something that's like fresh or anything like that, or something that could be store bought? Doesn't matter.
That really depends, because when you buy things from stores, like buying ground clove from Walmart, you never know what other chemical is in that, So that since you don't know what's in that, you don't know how it would contribute to your spell. So, like, there's a local store, Mel's Mill, that has certain herbs, and they're organic, so I like their stuff. And if you can find it outside and you know where it's from, then you should probably pick it from there.
Like you get rosebud, you said, every time from your own garden and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. But that's a good point. She has we're fortunate enough, we do have a store here locally that you can get Eye of New, Dragon Scale. Yeah. So I think it's all pretty cool, and I think you're on the right track here, and I appreciate your mom being involved and helping you guide and being open to it, allowing her to express herself and delve into this without kiboshing it, because a lot of people would be afraid of something like this, or no. So I applaud you, but this young lady's amazing.
Phyllis reading like a little girl. That's some point there tonight.
Cool. You got anything else you want to add, or? Not really. Okay, tell some of the stories now. You're wandering around the monastery. You have a few stories of your own, different feelings, and in fact, you get a vision when you're up on the fourth floor. And she is intuitive as well. And Sean was working with her a little bit. Where is Sean?
He went to go put his stuff away.
He was, working with her a little bit last night and stuff, and I want her to, you guys to maybe share, spend some more time together, because I think it can help you grow. But, tell us some of the things that you have going on in here when you're wandering around.
So there's a certain doorway where every time I walk through it, it's like a spider web effect almost. Like you're walking through a spider web, or like there's something resisting me from going through that doorway. And I've had one of my friends, Trey, he's another tiny person. He's walked through that and told me the exact same thing. And we'd stand there and watch that door flap open. And it's a pretty heavy door, so it doesn't just move on its own. And there's no wind draft to do that. So I think there's definitely someone in that doorway that either protects it or just tries to keep people out.
Now there's kind of there's a doorway, and then you pass by another section, and then there's another doorway. And it only happens in that in-between space, is that correct?
Yeah, in the doorway into that room and in the room.
Okay. Now, what about on the fourth floor up on the balcony? You tell me a story about that.
So there's a certain balcony that most of the time when I go up there, this like vision replays in my head of this monk standing over a balcony. And I don't know if it's a priest or another monk, but someone comes and, tells him something, and then he just covers his face. So, and I can never.
You feel like it was bad news, so he kind of cries or something.
Yeah.
And interesting enough, she said, and I feel like it's very early. You said like 1925 is a date that she had suggested to me. And then we went down here and we were looking through some old photographs. We found a photograph from 1925, and she says that's the priest, and we have his name, so we need to follow up on that. And
Yeah, it's like one of those cases where, I know my mom's face, I know my dad's face, I can recognize them in a picture, but it's just this vision, and I can look at hundreds of pictures of people, but then there's just that one that seems so recognizable for no reason. It's almost like I know the person, but I don't.
yeah. Any other questions, guys?
One question was, is there any herbs or anything we should completely avoid?
It really depends on, the purpose of it. Like if you put like black peppercorns into a positive spell, that could kind of get rid of the purpose of that. But yeah, no, there's not really anything you want to avoid.
Just over excessive. Clove seems to be, and that's what stands out in my mind. Clove is the one you want to be careful of.
Yeah, with clove, it's not dangerous. It's not, it's not bad. It's just really strong. So you need to watch out on what you use it for.
And again, don't buy the generics. Yeah.
Another question was, where would you get your spells? Where do you get your information on how to
Yeah,
read
here's your spell books. You mentioned them.
So, like when I was at a library with my friend in Springs, they had a list of spell books. I read through that, memorize some recipes. That's where I get that. And there's a lot of things off the internet, for sure. A lot of those. And sometimes it's just what you're drawn to make a spell.
And again, you don't use anything when you're doing hexes. You don't hex somebody else. You hex yourself.
Yeah, because I believe it's ultimately you have to fix yourself before you try to fix other people. You seem controversial to that.
Awesome. I'm so happy you brought her. I'm so excited, and I wanted to share Karina here with everybody because not many 12-year-olds have this brain and the compassion. As you sit here and talk to her, you know she's coming from the heart. And just the ability, she's sitting up here talking to a bunch of adults right now, you know, and she's a pro.
I think of adults as big people second to big bodies, so.
And you're definitely a superstar on Twitch here, man. We got a lot of fans already up here talking about you and wanting to know more information and stuff. We're so proud of you, man. Kudos to you, man. You got a lot of
Starts your own channel.
So you want to explain the hexes and the spells that you brought me?
So this is a hex I have against some internet thing. I don't know what it was. A glitch, a person, I don't know. But one of my friends is getting bothered by this thing. And she asked me to help it, or try to, since she knows I make spell drawers. So I made a hex to help the situation. But, well, since I wasn't involved in it, there was no way I could alter myself to fix that. So it was just kind of a thing to help the whole situation. And then she came to me and told me that that person left her alone. You know, like I don't know if she blocked them or what, but something left her alone. So, yeah.
Cool. And what do you have in?
Yeah. It's moldy.
Obviously, no preservative.
There's definitely black peppercorns and chili flakes in it, and probably moon water and quartz. But yeah.
How do you use those?
What do you mean?
Like, you give it to a person, what do they do with it?
Oh, well, when you give it to someone, you always have to make sure they're okay with it. And it depends on the thing. So like with protection spells, you put them in a place you feel safe, because that can just contribute to the whole demeanor of that. With self-confidence spell, I'm pretty sure I have one in my backpack to help, you know, with my confidence at school and stuff.
So you basically just have it.
And it depends on the thing.
See, in talking with, I suggested, well, you must be one of the popular kids in school.
No, I'm the weirdo. I have my two fellow weird friends. Yeah.
So you're amongst the yeah. Fit right in with this group.
Anytime.
All right, what do we have here?
Pretty sure this is a self-confidence spell. So this is just one that I have at my house all the time. It has cinnamon, lavender, honey, citrine, and I think pink salt in it. And yeah.
Now, citrine is one of your favorites, right?
Yeah. So citrine is one of my favorite stones to put in any spell, really, because it's, you know, a confidence spell, a happiness thing. It's just for really positive outcomes. So yeah.
Do you crush it?
No.
No?
Well, if you find like a big chunk of citrine out in the mountains, then you crush it into little pieces.
Otherwise,
But-
you just use little ones.
Yeah, because stores just sell them in little like crystals. Yeah, but that's what I do with quartz. So like, I'll go out in the mountains and find a big chunk of quartz and crush it and ruin concrete in the process.
Anybody else? Well, let's give Karina a big round of applause. Probably, I knew you could. It's that combination that you have there.
You want her to draw from the book, maybe?
Yeah, let's do the, wait, I saw Jess,
I got
Yeah.
it.
you got there? Okay. So let's do the ghost in every house. The book. So whoever gets their name drawn here, you get to draw a name. Problem with using sticky notes.
Yeah.
It's
What is it?
because.
Oh, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We don't really need to take a long break. Yeah, he's here. If you want to step on up and keep your. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Mr. Richmore, Ghostlight Code.
You guys are noisy. Jeez. Sorry about that, everybody. Gosh.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. I want to take this opportunity to let you all embrace the science. Can I get an amen for science? Amen for science.
Now you're speaking my language.
Science flowing through here. Going to hell for sure. I'd like to talk a little bit about truth. Truth in paranormal. Truth is a subjective concept. It's based on information coalesced by facts and accepted as being correct. Well, what if the information you received is not correct? Is it still truth? Can be. Your truth. It's your truth. Everybody has their own truth. Everybody has their own concepts of the world around them, their universe. Everybody has their own interpretation. Every situation and every event. Well, in paranormal, that's a wide concept. There are people who respond to different areas of the earth. Well, I started my search when I was 10 years old. Now, 42 years later, that's my truth. Still under me. I haven't found what I'm looking for. I found things that have my curiosity. But I can't, because you cannot believe anything you can see. That's what believe is not necessarily true. I don't believe. I'm a skeptic. Usually when I say that to a paranormal group, they're out the door. So I apply for staying for that. But a skeptic, by definition, is not someone who does not believe in a concept or a fact or a presentation. It's someone who suspends disbelief. In that concept and follows that without any question. Now, a skeptic is just the opposite. They don't not believe, they don't necessarily not accept, but they have this, they have more curiosity about the subject, but they don't accept it necessarily as full truth without any replica. So what I do is I decided to go through science. Can I get an amen for science? Amen for science. I'm not a scientist, not even close. In fact, people will laugh at the stuff I do, but I try as I can to find as much information, collect as much data, corroborate information and data to try and arrive at some kind of intelligent answer for the questions I'm seeking. Have I experienced things? Yeah, I've experienced all kinds of stuff. Do I think they're necessarily ghosts? First problem is, what is a ghost? Look it up in the dictionary. It's not going to give you an exact answer of what a ghost actually is or a spirit. Now, the general concept is that spirit is somehow something left over from a human being, from an intelligence that's left after the body has decayed. That's entirely possible. I live with a lady who experiences all kinds of things, yet she wants nothing to do with prayer. She's a geriatric nurse who's been doing it for 42 years. And she has seen so many people come and go and experience things after they're going that she no longer disbelieves that there's something going on after death. So in my journey, unfortunately, I'm the paranormal freak. I don't feel anything. I don't generally sense anything. One time that's happened, and I'm still quite. And
Louis Thornhall.
Anyway, so I'm still on these. I want scientific answers. I want hard truth. I want something to answer this question once and for all. But there's nothing out there that will do that. We don't have scientific technology available to us as normal human beings to really get there, to look at every corner, find something to look at, find out, narrow this down. What is it? Put the label on it. It's probably something natural. The natural world has so much stuff going on that we don't understand, and sometimes never even experience, but it's still there. So most likely what we are experiencing is a normal part of life in our universe. It's just a natural occurrence. Amen. Can I get an amen? Amen. Amen for natural occurrence. That's right. So let's get back, get way down the rabbit hole on this. So I started looking in there, well, what can I do? It's just a guy with a limited income to go to start exploring this. So the first thing I did was I got involved with a paranormal scientific forum, which unfortunately I don't think I'm around it. But the questions were being raised there. Well, as a paranormal investigator, what do we really want to look for? And always the first answer is, well, you got to get it. You got to get the EMS. It's all about the EMS. Problem with EMS, electromagnetic fields, is they were around before there was even life on Earth. The sun generates electromagnetic fields. All stars do. There are also other sources of electromagnetic fields that we have like you, and they're still theoretical concepts, black holes, quarks, all these kind of things that could be possible generating EMS in different areas. So the sun is the largest producer in our universe of electromagnetic fields. Now, enter the caveman who crawls up out of the primordial ooze and becomes a human being. What's the first thing he does? He develops a sense outside himself. They start thinking of a larger intelligence, a supreme being, something that is bigger than themselves, that can explain things that happen in their lives they cannot control or understand. Later that develops into religion. Now, is God a thing? Am I going to sit here and argue? No, I'm not, because I don't necessarily believe a single concept of God, but I do accept that there are things way more influential and powerful, things beyond my concept that do control our lives or have some kind of interaction in our life. I do accept a supreme being of some sort. I'll put a name on it, but I don't believe because something may prove later on that's not necessarily the case. Like so as part of that journey of people, they had to have a way to explain the world around them, their environment, things that happen, life and death, things beyond their control. Well, the paranormal has been popular for a long time, way before this. In the Victorian times, Elizabethan times, people were very interested in why are people dying, what happens after death. How can you explain bumps in the night and things moving, shadows, and stuff like that? So, again, that's all part of the journey. As humans, we are hardwired to question our environment, and we should. We should absolutely question everything. So, my journey back to where I'm going is into the heart and stuff that I can put on a piece of paper, stuff that I can graph, chart, and kind of try to get some sort of scientific information, something that gives me more focus, because it just anomalous data points don't mean anything to me. So I have been on a journey to find a way to record multiple data points and correlate them. Now, when I first started out, before I got into the light years, so we'll come back to that. That's for the infomercial. So
That's when I started my car. Lights made him work so hard that he can't play no more.
I don't know, Jim. Okay, so I started looking on the scientific forum, and there was a lot of discussion about EMF back then. Electromagnetic fields were generated by all sorts of things. Man, generated so many electromagnetic fields that we live in a soup of EMF. You can't get away from it. It goes through buildings, it goes through the ground, it's in the air, all the time. So the first area that was really popular in ghost hunting was looking for EMFs. Problem is, what kind of EMFs are you looking for? And why are you looking for EMFs at all? They're everywhere. You can't get away from them. Well, it turns out there are different frequencies of EMFs. EMFs are just like the light spectrum, has way different wavelengths, and different things fall into categories. Science! Can I get an amen? Science! It means there's a possibility. Find out what these anomalous things are we are experiencing as they relate to EMFs. So it really wasn't crazy to look at EMFs at all. People didn't really understand why they were, because they were using equipment that was designed for electricians to find faulty wiring, and that's not where we should be looking. So it came down through the forum and through several very, very smart people. Start isolating your EMFs. This is a multimeter, actually anyway, and with a calibrated EMF meter detector. So what this does, tell you the frequency of the EMF you're experiencing. If you get close enough to it, that's the down. So through the forum, there were getting unbeknownst to everybody on the forum, there was a guy living out there who actually put out a piece of equipment. So it's called the DMX. These are unicorn now. You can't hardly find them anywhere. But if you can, grab it, because it's the only device that does multi-data collecting. It stores it on an SD card. It timestamps it. It also records audio and lets you put it onto a software program to correlate everything that happens at once. So if you get a spike on EMF, a change in temperature, and EVP all on the same line on the graph, that's multi-points of data. That's more likely to be something of importance because it correlates all that information rather than one EMF over here, like an EMF spike, on the audio over here that aren't at the same time. But this allows you to know exactly what time, what period that happened if both events happened. It also splits up the EMF spectrum into VLF, ELF, and RF. So you can see if it's a high frequency, low frequency, mid frequency. And it separates out AC, 60 cycles, man-made electricity. So you can eliminate that as being a cause of the EMF. Great piece of equipment, hard to find. Anybody touch that? But that's the start, unfortunately, because this guy worked for a defense contractor. He was, told by his employer that he can no longer put these out. He got three of them out on the market.
Can you reverse engineer?
I can't because I don't want to get sued.
Oh, really?
He has a patent.
Okay.
He does have several patents on that. But he agreed with his employer not to do it because of the conflict of interest, so he stopped production so that he could keep his job.
Okay.
Now, there are people trying to put things out there. There's an EDI meter that's out there that does, do the motion detector, temperature, I believe, and EMF, geophone, yeah. So, I don't know if that necessarily has software with the times, which is okay for visual, but you really need to collect data in computers. The EDI plus. What's that? The EDI plus actually collects plus. Good identity. We collect. Oh, that's more good information than a single anonymous event. While single anonymous events are interesting and they keep your interest in the field, more data you can collect, the more you can coalesce to one little packet that is then more likely that it points to what you're looking for. All right, let's get a little off track as we're deep in the woods here. Now, the infomercial part of the show. I got into lighting only because at the time I was in a paranormal group, and the lighting at that time was substandard. There are very few icon lights you can find.
The Sonys that didn't do
The Sony, they have the lock on the field. And a couple of others got out there, but just didn't cut it. They didn't have the range. If they were rechargeable, they would last 20 minutes, and you had to recharge it for 5 hours. So this was not acceptable. So I started making my own lights. And originally I built a 9-volt powered lights. However, I hit the ceiling for depth of field, for length, and for width. It's the IRB. So I obviously had to go higher. And I actually, let's say this, but I invented the high power light center for today. I got in early with a company that made security lighting, and I made the LEDs for that lighting, and they were very high powered, but they could only work off electricity. So I came up with a way to battery power, make them in smaller packages, because they get hot. Batteries in, voila, ghost light. Ghost light. We're gonna get a name in of a ghost light. And that opened up the field because now I can see what I'm recording. You know, I recorded with the Sony lights and so on. Get it in non-wave. Well, I can't see what it is because it's a grainy picture. It's blurry. So more power light creates a better image, more highly detailed and high-res image. That allows you to see and interpret better what's happening on the screen. Okay, so now, IR light. Why is everybody looking at IR light? Why is everybody running around in the dark looking? Any idea? We know why we do our work in the dark? Well, that's what we're told to do.
Is your senses off?
That's one reason. Yes, it is. But, okay, let's talk about TV briefly, because I don't want to go down that. But TV ghost shows kind of started with the current surge of paranormal investigation. And it's at the present. Problem is, TV is an entertainment medium. They're there to sell advertising. Truth does not matter. Facts do not matter. Producers, they want wars. They want you to say, I was so scared that. And, yeah, that's their thing. Well, that's fine. I actually love the shows. I watch them all the time because it's fun. And that fueled my interest in them later in life. But we have to know that the reason they do that in the dark is for the fear factor. It's real better. But that's not why we do most of our work at night. Truth is, paranormal stuff happens anytime, day, night, whenever. But we don't always know it. In the dark, your senses are heightened. In the dark, see light anomalies that probably happen during the daylight. You can't see them because the Wi-Fi washes them out. We caught that. That's the night event. There's 2 events that we're not, we don't know exactly what's going on, but we got light. In the daytime, we're gonna see.
With the sun being. EMFs.
There's so much increase in and reduced EMF bandwidth. Bandwidth is a big deal in 5G. You gotta have more because all of our communication devices are wired. So they're expanding wavelengths at astronomical rates right now. So we're getting built up anytime day or night. Now you can get internet. It's like here it is here midnight because satellites, all these things are bombarding. So you have activity somewhat lower at night. Internet activity is generally lower at night. So Wi-Fi aren't there much, but it's getting worse. It's going to just keep getting worse.
I think also the world tends to be quieter when people are sleeping and stuff, so there's not so many outside variables that could interfere with the investigation and stuff.
That's true. That's a good point because there's less traffic at night. So you don't have cars running down the road making noise and producing EMF from motors. Yeah, the people factor. People factor. There seems to be, and this is just theoretical on my point, outdated, but there seems to be that a lot of things hearing about haunting are the people factor. I've come to suspect, I would almost at the D word, believe. I come to suspect that it's more about people than it is about anything else. People seem to be haunted more than places. But yeah, that I say it's true. But people have to talk about it. Everybody has that. Doesn't mean it did there. Now in my old age of 42. Okay, 52. So I'm starting to pick up on things I didn't pick up on a long time. I mean, I've had more and more of these instances where sometimes I know stuff before it happens. It's not, I'm not gonna say I'm psychic or anything like that, but I'll have a feeling this is gonna go that way. Or I have feelings somebody's calling, somebody calls. Things like that. It's the stuff that's always been there that we all have and mainly ignore. But as I'm getting older, getting less, I'm getting less busy. But the point is, I seem to be more open to that stuff. And after doing this for so many years, I think that may have had something to do. But like the one time at which didn't happen necessarily.
I got a feeling we're.
Films to be faked. Anyway,
It was the scariest night of your life.
that was not scary. Not scary. Nothing happened. Anyway, so that's me. I'm a brick. I didn't feel anything. So we have to like, now let's talk about spectrum real quick because it's probably boring everybody at this point. IR, infrared light. One of the big reasons to get into that, we don't generally see infrared in our vision. Imagine this is the electromagnetic spectrum, starting from here, running all the way over here. That's all EMF. That's the entire. The visual electromagnetic spectrum. You read about okay. We see so much of it, not the full electromagnetic spectrum, and we should. Did and go blind. But we only see a certain amount. We only see a certain wavelength, 400 to 700 now. So what do we do to see stuff outside of it? To see stuff going on outside of it? That was the first area that paranormal went into. Infrared. It's accessible. We have infrared cameras. We can make infrared lights. let's see what's in the infrared, let's look out there. So they did start turning up. You don't know what they are, but there are countless things that can capture in the infrared. So that's a good idea. Now we're on to something. Now we're looking beyond our normal sight. We have equipment to do that. Ultraviolet, that's the next thing. Okay, we went to this end of the spectrum. Let's go down here and see what's hiding in ultraviolet UV. Let's look down here. Well, it turns out UV has a problem. It's a higher energy light, and it causes things to fluoresce. So when you turn on the UV, stuff glows, like the black light and a white picture. So now you're susceptible to more false positives. You see something, ooh, look at that glow down there. What is that? Well, it could be a fluorescent object, something that fluoresces under UV light. Well, that's a problem. Some people have no problem. That's okay. So I use UV sparing. Somebody pointed out today, blue light. I won't say the name, JK. Which is a brilliant idea. Should have thought it out myself. I actually got into UG, ultra green, which is for streamers, for somebody who has a Twitch feed, get his name. Ghost Cramps over here. Needed something that he could run around in the basement and film stuff and look like it's an IR, but not trip over the stuff. So, hence UG ultra green is a very close to blue light. It's the farthest end of green, closest to blue. What that does is it causes a visual glare. It causes you to be able to see where you're going. It also allows a certain amount of stuff to bottom in that you would expect. So, UG, that's an ultra green.
And actually, you made me two versions. The first one was
Well, that's because that was just written. That was what led up to it. So, okay, so now we're at the point of looking at blue. Blue is between green and purple on the spectrum. There's very possible stuff going on there. Look at that. Years ago or so, those department contacted me to make a specialized light. Because when they're looking at a crime scene, they need specific wavelengths of light to find specific things. One for blood, one for bodily fluids, one for this, one for that. There's actually nothing falls under the thing where you can't shine UV light to see everything that's in the room. So I developed a light in 4 different frequencies, and they use that to apparently work. They use it to find specific things when they're looking at. We need to see gunpowder. We need to see blood. We need to see urine. So certain frequencies irradiate different things. Now you have the possibility to move beyond it. You can bring that up. That's my next part. All right. So where do we get this thing? Question for this one. How old are you? I'll say I was 10 years later now. Yes. Let's say it's a little bit beyond. Anyway, question, anything?
What happened to you?
Okay.
You want the true story? You gotta talk to me first.
Well, again, truth is subjective. Here's what happened in my world. Okay, TV shows that this happens a lot, and I've always doubted it. Because someone will go, oh, and there's no way to verify, there's no way to prove somebody who's actually tested other than to accept their word as truth. It's just subjective. Okay, now, fast forward to Uniform. Been here thousands of times, it seems. Go to Uniform, been there a lot. That's one of the
That was before it was a haunted house too.
Yeah, oh wait. And that's one of the first places we went. Got actively immediately going to the world. When we were first home in here. Did you tell them that story? I'll sidetrack. Dennis and I, let me first say, what did we do? Cripple Creek, right? Our first.
Maybe that's pretty old.
It was.
I was 42.
So anyway, we're both getting, just kind of, it's because we're tired of the ground. We don't have time for that. We just want to go be able to do our thing and have fun and maybe find something. So I meet this guy. This guy here inspired me to do ghost lights. He inspired me to keep doing this. He is the kind of guy who just go do it. Just do it. Just get out there. Put yourself out there. You don't need anybody. Go out there and do it yourself. And thank you, Dennis, because without you, man, I don't know what that goes like. I would probably pull him out the ground.
Wait, let me think about it.
I just want to get that in there. So we met, lost my track.
Story.
Oh, you looked, okay, so he says, I got a call from the Abbey in Kansas City.
Oh, that was back before the first meeting.
Yeah, this is the first time in.
Yeah.
And it's in dead of winter, it's in February, it's snowy, it's cold, it's nasty.
It was February 6th because it was actually my birthday.
That's right.
That's good for that is really his birthday.
Yeah.
There's don't get out place to mix. So he gets a call, I said, come on, we gotta go check this out. He sent this with Eve. And we rush in because the Abbey called them and said that they kept getting alarms going off at Doolittle. The cops were called in and they finally got the last time in. They had things happen, doors slammed, they saw shadows, whatever. They said they're not coming back. It's your problem. So is that basically it?
Yeah. But I want to note that I got a picture on my phone. It was -3 degrees when we went in.
Yeah.
It was so cold
How cool?
that a little bit of condensation inside of our cameras. Remember, all our cameras froze.
Yeah.
The hard drives froze on the cameras. We had to keep them in our pockets to warm them up enough to film.
But walking in the very first time in the uniform, voices, me, we recorded our video. And so now let's flash forward. That's how we got started. That's how this whole Abbey thing started. So we came in and did that. Oh, yeah, something going on there. Then it became this. So flash forward to Youthorn before the Boy Scouts. So
Yeah, that was, Wade was with us that night. So that was 5 years ago.
5,
6,
7,
7.
maybe more than that. Anyway, go into Youthorn, we go into the basement. Basement, we never investigated much, it's all full of black widows and things like that that you let me run into in the dark. And we're filming in there. He's standing over by the stairs, right? By the stairs, Wade.
I was over by the furnace.
Okay, and Wade was by the stairs.
Yeah.
So they're filming each other. And I go to the back where that hole in the wall is, there's a little space back. And I'm standing with my back. Here's the doorway to that thing. I'm standing there. Back. All of a sudden, and I thought it was one of these guys trying to get out of that room and pushing me out of the way. And so I had my cameras on. Nobody in here. And I was like, what the hell then? I mean, there's that point where you say anything, it could go sideways. You don't say anything. So stupid me, I said something. And it became a story. And unfortunately, they didn't get anything. So I said, did you get it? Did you get that film? Did you see anything? And oh, we were filming each other.
At that moment, you totally lost your sense of humor.
Yeah, so-
I'm giving you shit.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, well, listen, and now it's just a story. I don't have any way to prove it. So, again, it's just a story you can't. So, we had cameras, or we had the cameras, got them now, running down there then. So, I guess summarization. Question. And it may not be what you think it is. You can get That's what they can tell somewhere or another started that or with a lot of people here at any given time, and you're right now, and it shows up on our camera. Seeing a blurred image in front of it. Looks like it's a big fuzzy thing floating over there. It's right on. So that's my opinion of orbs. Although I have in several instances, and fortunately, I don't think I got it last time. Experienced orbs that are orbs of light, orbs of energy. I found pops of leaving a camera running and then leaving and coming back and checking the video. Sometimes a little unexplained. I have no idea why there would be a light emitted. Emitting enough to cause a shadow or cause a glare of an object near it. So then I know it doesn't seem like it's natural. Maybe it could be entirely natural. Maybe something's happening every day right now. We can't see it because it's sun. But that is an orb. That is interesting. That is something that needs more investigation.
So would you agree every time we meet somebody and they find out we're paranormal investigators? Oh, I've got this picture. I want you to look at it. Always an orb.
Yeah. And
I call them orbs with intent. When you can't explain it, when it's not, when somebody walks through a carpet and all of a sudden everybody's like, oh my God, look at all the, hello, the carpet hasn't been vacuumed in a month.
yeah.
You know, but if you see an orbit, something that goes this way, then up to a camera lens, then back, that's an orb with intent. I can't explain that.
They flicker. And they
Yeah.
go, and that's what they're doing is they're hitting the IR light.
Yeah.
From this IR light to that IR light. And so they flicker. There's nothing really does.
So favorite piece of video is I set up security cameras in the chapel at every cemetery. In the bottom of the chapel is where they used to store the bodies because you couldn't dig the ground so far during the winter. This chapel's been there since right as during the city. So they would keep the bodies in the bottom of the chapel, and when their cemetery, when a funeral occurred, then they would lift the bodies up on this hoist, do the funeral, and then take it back down and take them out to the cemetery to be buried if they could, or store them.
3 of us went there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, we put up security cameras. We'll keep breaking in there for some reason. There's nothing in it. But so one day, I got a call to go check the security cameras. There's something on there. So I go down there and check the cameras. And I see this orb. Like it's at the very back, the downstairs area where the body floats forward and just a little bit and forward. And it's actually a piece of dust that got caught in the spider web and it's hanging there. Favorite piece. I love that piece. Right, anything else for me? I'll let you all.
That's not to say that orbs don't exist, but they're
No, yeah. Again, I captured anomalous orbs on it. Things that, but I'm talking about the energy.
Yeah.
Pops of light. Things like that. That is more interesting.
But don't call it Uncle Joe or, Aunt May.
Yeah, exactly. I don't give them names.
Face and
Yeah. And that's people to see things, make kind of chaos.
Oh, you mentioned that.
Yeah. Your brain is hardwired to make sense out of chaos. And so when you look at an object, you can't necessarily describe it. Your brain's starting, okay, well, I see an eye, I see a nose, I see, okay, that's a face, even though it's not. That's just our DNA. That's going to happen. But with a little more critical investigation, with a little more hard look at what you're actually looking at, sometimes you can discern what's real, what's not. Amen.
Can I get an amen?
Oh, yeah.
So this is for the Richmond ultra green light.
Mike? There you go.
Thanks, guys.
Really?
Yeah. I need to another-
What's that?
and,
What about the
What's that?
what about the autograph session?
Oh, I gotta say, well, no, it's $50. Anybody has any questions? I've got cards and if you want to know more about nights, whatever. That's the good. Oops.
How can we forget that? I mean,
The website.
Our website, ghostlightco.com.
What was that other time for people in bed?
Ghostlightco.com. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
No, thank you.
thank you.
All right, guys, I guess, we're gonna get up and stretch a little bit and then take another 15-minute break or so. And then we'll meet back at it and we're gonna do a, panel discussion. So, yeah. Yeah. Remember, go use that ball pit. Make me a bunch of happy pictures.
Yes, sir. Hey, and then I gotta fix some straight stuff, so.
Sir.
What up, buddy?
You're smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has that means you just split it out. This is my house. Oh. I remember. It's got the recorder.
No.
Yeah, it just has. Yeah. It is awesome. But it's really easy for listening. I don't know. It's
I just printed it out, but it's got reading.
This week, that explains about her requirement. I think she's gonna be quickly.
Hey, Rich.
Oh. We might do it. Algebra.
Just realized yesterday. There has to be a dead space underneath the lights there.
Oh, yeah.
So we found that we could get it.
Really?
We've never opened, like, being open, where out the phones and stuff. We don't know what's going to happen. Next week, what could be there?
No, they haven't opened it yet. We thought that would be, Don't you open it.
Hey guys, I'm back in command here.
I think I've done it to get it.
Let me see what's going on.
When you put the car down, you can't put it
Turn on the command camera. There we go. So we were having some in and out with the mic.
Hello. Is it me you're looking for?
But yeah, I'm gonna try and figure out some more of the sound and stuff here. Obviously, we're using the mics on the cell phone. And when they walk away, or like, you know, Rich was pacing back and forth, the sound is gonna kind of come in and out because it's kind of in that general one direction. So I don't know how much I'll be able to alleviate that. That'll just be something that we'll have to work on in the future.
Dennis Beckham, let the ball out. Dennis Beckham.
I wish he could hear these. You can't hear them. But yeah, what I'll do is, you know, like I was saying, we'll have to work on maybe figuring out how to use a microphone or something directly into the telephone.
And it's great seeing you. I haven't seen you.
For the future sessions like this. This is all, like I said, this is all brand new, just doing it tonight using Discords. I believe both are connected to the Wi-Fi warranty. However, I think they're dropping in and out because we're right on that edge of the first floor here, where the Gramps, the Simply Ghost Network is just kind of in and out. So I think it's just connecting and then disconnecting and then going to cellular and then connecting and then disconnecting and going to cellular. So I think that's kind of what the struggle is. We're just right there on that fringe.
I remember it was like a with
Oh, you're good, Zombie. That was fun. But yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Again, guys, this is all just kind of playing and figuring out what the capabilities are of this this new setup that we have going on. I mean, obviously, for those of you that have been around this channel for a long time, you know, for over the past couple of years, you can see how much it's progressed and how much further this channel has grown, and you know, the amount of technology and people investing their time, their money, you know, it's just absolutely amazing how far this whole thing has come. You know, going from a little grainy cell phone camera to having, you know, 20 plus cameras and roaming cameras, and now Discord wireless net that can be ran throughout the entire Abbey all the way into the basement and to the really interesting parts of the Abbey. It's absolutely amazing. So, you know, this is all very fluid. It changes frequently. You know, the more and more technology that he keeps putting in here, the more he's going to be able to produce and put out content that's going to be extremely interesting and fun for everyone to watch. And, you know, I'll just say on a personal level, you know, this channel has really saved my dad's life. You know, he was at a very dark spot in his life where he was just very not happy with the way travel was going and economics and, you know, everything else. He didn't just really have anything that he wanted to wake up for in the morning. And now he's at this point where he feels like the community, his family, you know, these events, things like this are really, you know, things that he wants to wake up for now. Sorry, that was my son. He's being crazy and running into stuff. But, you know, he wants to wake up and produce good content for everybody. And, you know, this event, you know, Wanty was here last night. He could see how miserable my dad was last night. I mean, he was sick and in bed and sleeping, not able to breathe. I mean, really kind of a scary situation, to be 100% honest with everybody, since he's not sitting here. You know, he's ran himself ragged over the past couple of weeks to put this off, because he just believes in it so much, and he wants to be a great producer of content for you, because he's just so passionate about it and believes in this, you know, this community and doing this. So, you know, I applaud to all of you that are out here doing this and enjoying this, because, you know, it really does mean a lot to him, and it really does keep him going day to day. So thank you all for coming out. I see here that we've got a Frozen picture on her ass. So that's awesome.
It's not frozen. This is actually happening.
No, over here, buddy. Our camera here froze, so let me see if I can disconnect her ass. And then we'll see if it can refresh here. This is Little Batch. Yep, this is Kai Batch here. Kai, come scooch over in the camera and say hi. Right, there's your camera. Hiya. There, your face is cut off because you're too far that way. You got to come this way towards me. But there you go. That is Little Batch. This is batch number 4, or technically number 1.
My real name's Kylan.
Gentleman with the black shirt with the skull on it is Mr. Rich Horn from ghostlightco.com. He is been a paranormal investigator with my dad for the past 20 or so years. Absolutely amazing guy. He's so knowledgeable. He's very, very, very smart. But he's got a very science background. You know, he's like an electrical engineer. He's created a lot of really cool gadgets and stuff, and he approaches the paranormal investigating like he had said, if you had seen his panel interview there, that he is very much on the science side of things. So that's kind of how he has always approached these investigations, as a skeptic, and he's kind of the science behind everything that goes on here. So thank you. Then we have right there in the red shirt is Mike. Mike and Jen, they come here fairly frequently. And then the young lady in the gray hoodie there, that is Kat's mom. And obviously you can see Ghost Gramps there on the left.
They'd be worth some money, didn't they?
Hi, Grandma! And back there in the very back, kind of sitting up against those pews right over here on this right side there, is Mr. Rich Horn, and he is speaking with Cam Paranormal, who's also very active in our community here, and he was able to make it last minute. So yeah, this Gramps computer, or Gramps one, is having issues. I'm gonna have to fix it.
It's got,
Words are hard. I have a podcast I do on live Sundays. Try reaching out to your dad on the Book of Faces. Is there an email I can email? Absolutely. I will make sure that I get you that information after we're done here with the panel interviews. Words are hard. Panel interviews. And I'll send you all that contact information, and that way you can reach out to him and set everything up, because yeah, he'd love to do that. He's all about doing any type of interviews, and be happy to fill you in on anything. And if you want to talk with any of these other guys also, I mean, he's a great contact to reach out to them as well. So yeah, we'll take care of that here after the show there, geeks. And then I guess, guys, I'm going to go ahead and close down command here. I'm going to go screw with that top cam. I'm going to see if I can maybe make it a little bit better there. So it's a little bit maybe cleaner video. And I hope it works out. Again, I'm going to have my Discord app open while I'm down there. If you guys are experiencing any issues or whatever, please just let me know, put it in the chat, and I'll do my best to try and keep the stream running here. And yeah, this is, I think, Dennis is the last interview for the day. I could be incorrect. I usually am. You can ask my wife. I think I know a lot, but I really don't. So I'm probably lying, but we'll find out. And then the rest of the docket for today is we're going to go, we'll have our dinner. Everyone's going to get some food. And then we'll be back for the evening investigation throughout the Abbey again.
And also for Forest.
And then, Wabass, there is nobody in command today. So I'm just kind of running up here on our breaks and kind of talking to people and stuff. So I'll be probably up and down for the most part, running command and doing the other stuff. So yeah, if you have any questions, comments, anything for any of the panel interviewees or just anything in general, again, put them in chat. I will relay them to the appropriate person, and we will hopefully get your question answered. And if I don't, then re-ask it in a different way or whatever, and we'll get you addressed. So who am I? I am Batch. I am Gramps' oldest son, and this is Gramps' grandson right here. So this is Kylan. I'm Jason. Hi. I'm the infamous Batch.
Sometimes people call me Kylo.
Yep, Kylo Ren.
Or
Kai Batch.
Or Kai Batch or just Kai.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. We're all about it, geeks.
Well, you go fix the camera, so I'll just watch the camera.
Are you just gonna sit up here?
Yep.
Don't click any buttons.
Okay.
All right, guys. I'm closing down this. I'm closing down this cam here, and then I'm heading downstairs. So again, let me know if anything's happening with the cams. I'll try and fix it up. See you in a minute.
I think we're down to 2 XLR, triple XLR, so we're gonna deal with it.
Yeah. So they got the cameras.
You like the next one? Let there be light, let there be light. All I know is you should be careful. You might like it.
So
The reflection of the overhead. Okay. Let there be light.
and then it's all. So what not to anybody in here.
Yeah. Oh, that was my knees. Boy, oh boy. You should have. It was good. We went to the burger place. The burger, what is it called? The one with meat. Had bacon and stuff on it. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Oh. Good.
Don't press that button. You don't know what you're doing.
I was a flyer. John Jeff. Oh, I was gonna say they have a couple places. The last thing. I think it was. The outcome stuff, and they brought me, so I go back. So it took a second for it to go.
Sounds like a horror movie over there.
Yeah, I could hear it. Where? She's. I think I listened to her. So. I just. Well, because.
I was there 4 times.
Because I went there to. I went to go pee and came out.
I was there then. Remember, I walked in with you and I was sitting in those chairs.
But then I never said come back.
I was waiting.
Just stick your head in. Yeah.
You're seeing it, you see your face online.
No, I didn't.
Hey, everybody.
I don't know. Oh, Kathy's still looking at bracelets, but I don't know. We'll begin our presentation in 30 seconds. Is that cool?
Yes.
Okay, hopefully she drives safely. Right. Okay. Did she say she ate or getting something before, later? To eat? No, I meant once she got here. I meant once she got here. Right, yeah. I saw that on Facebook and through the text twice. Yeah, something in the text. I just read it like a few seconds ago. Is that the sun coming? It's the light. Ugh.
Wait, we gotta listen to JK.
No sleep till.
No sleep. Joe. Yeah, today was. And then Mr. Crucial. I do not sleep.
Hi, Kieran. I'm watching your video. Hi, buddy. Love you.
I'm not. Suggested. I'm stuck in it. Hold on a second. Oh.
Yeah.
Kind of like
Yeah. Okay, now that. Yeah. It's still one that's hangs on it. That's a good idea. I like that. Yeah. Could have the lights on the top of it. No. Yeah, right? I love it. I love it.
now it's like
Yes.
it's a different kind of.
Yeah. I love it, you know, like, different pictures, so they want piece stuff to give people time.
Well, you should.
Yeah, yeah, it's stuff that the ones that I bought, I bought my case so that I want to say.
You see some of requisition.
You know, instead of just coming in.
Then it's gonna be started.
Yeah, I remember. So, and I've got pictures and things on the website, but you know, they're perfect ones for the guy. Yeah, you know, so. Yeah, I love seeing. People.
Jason, you always said it.
Instead of I'm sleeping because I'm tired.
Let there be light.
Oh, thank you.
No, because it was,
Is this better?
We got,
got stuff and
table for tea.
our Instagram.
Yeah.
Crystal stuff.
Yeah. Yes, it's back.
Yeah.
Rita, I saw. Oh, she's hiding back there.
You like the bracelet? Your vote. That's the same.
Yeah. Help to pick out the stuff.
I do. Like 6
Yeah, yeah.
And I got you.
Waiting for a couple more people if they don't show.
Well, there's one.
Your offspring.
And actually, I guess.
Right?
Bullshit session.
Yep. There we go.
Just do our thing. 'Cause I know it's like the thing.
Well, definitely take.
Yeah.
Your answer. Huh? We're not talking. That's good. All right, so the only one you had to hear from here is JK so far. JK, if you want to tell them a little bit.
Name's John McKeever, hence JK47. Started my paranormal journey, actually investigating stuff 3 years ago. Always believed in spirit ever since I was 18. When I was 18, me and my boys, were at the club dancing and stuff, and this girl went to Riverdale Road. Don't know what Riverdale, the Riverdale Runners there. And they took us there, and we went to the northwest corner of this parking lot, and I stood there, like I was a non-believer, everything. And I stood in that corner, and footsteps. It runs right by you, and then it just repeats, and you get really cold, and I freaked out. I was so mad at my friends for finding these girls. I freaked out. We got in the car, going to eat home, you know. That's where my journey, that's where I became a believer, and since then, joined the army, went to Iraq, and my story is going to be on a show called Mission Unexplained. It will be on the Science Channel. It starts May 23rd. My episode will be on June 6th, is what they told me. They said the times can change, so just check your listings. But
I don't want to take up too much time with all the stories, so it's just, watch the show and you can hear about my spiritual experiences in Iraq. And then I got 100% disability in 2020, so I couldn't work anymore. So I started following my passion. It's always been figuring out what's going on. You do streams on Twitch? Yeah, I do. What avenue do you Facebook.
7.
All avenues. Yeah. So when I started having this free time and started researching, and I wanted to do a more scientific approach and try to figure stuff out. And so I head dove right into it. I started seeing these people on Facebook that were having problems, but everybody's laughing at it. Well, you know what? Sure, I'll go here. I'll help you out. Very first investigation, I was terrified. And I walked in and, the house felt weird, like it felt dark, and I'm starting to get these feelings that I've never felt, and not even 30 minutes in, I walked into the room I was staying in and just smelled like rotting meat, like something was dead. I'm looking around like, it's weird, it doesn't smell in the rest of the house, because I walked out of the room, walk around the house, and it doesn't smell like that, walk back in the room, and it smelled like that. Anyway, I started helping families, helped 15 families coast to coast, and I did it all on my own dime. Like, I didn't want to charge it, I don't think it's right, and I think that's how I grew. Is I learned that your intent, when you go into these places, when you go in to help a family, you have to let spirit know you intend to help the spirit as well as, and it's just been one thing after another. Check out on YouTube, you can see all of my journeys. And then I started really focusing on communicating with spirit through spirit box. And I've gotten a lot of stuff. And right now, especially like working on cold cases, try to give spirit a voice and see if I can help them. You can check all that stuff out on my YouTube. And yeah, and Abby, I've gotten a lot of stuff here. John's helping develop.
Spirit box, do you use an app?
I do have an app. The only one I really trust is the Necrophonics. But 100%, 90% of the time I'll use just the basic one.
Yeah. I trust that one from the outside.
Yeah.
Called me out by name. They run into in here. So I think that was kind of interesting. I don't really trust that.
Me, that's the only one.
That never presented that from that.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Well, yes, that's me.
So the rest of the game here, sit here and just kind of let things happen as they do. Three of us may have saw on the YouTube channel, we started the checklist.
Yeah. It's a work in progress.
Yeah, you want to elaborate on that? Well, tell the story.
Actually, it started as a concept. We both got interested in meditating, and I've always been interested in history, and one of the reasons I got into paranormal is the historic location, and it's fascinating. Tons of history, stories, and interaction. But anyway, got into meditating, kind of along the lines of the same reason. When I find an old artifact, it's akin to time travel. You get to touch something that hasn't been touched for 100 or 200 years. You have an instant connection with somebody. No, we find I'd seen in 2028. Like, yeah, case in point is we do field back behind one of the buildings here.
St. Joseph.
St. Joe's, yeah. And I found this way down the ground what I thought was gonna be a hut. And it turned out to be a US Navy plate from the Vietnam War.
Wow.
And how that got to a cornfield on the Abbey, I have no clue. One thing I found is that they used to do, back in those days, used to do military chaplain services. And sometimes they would have group services with multi, departments, yeah. And so they'd have Army, Navy, Air Force, several chaplains to accompany them and do their own, services here. So possibly that came from a service that was held here, but he lost some weight in the field, he could be too high or something, I don't know. But, if there was down there about 12 inches down in this field. And so that was an interesting thing I haven't really determined in the contact. Right.
So that they kind of have a better idea. What is the concept? What were we trying to establish?
We're trying to actually find an artifact that tie back into the Abbey so that we could use it as something kind of draw in positivity of connection spirit. And so we were looking for potentially metals or anything that could tie us back into the
Personal item.
that personal item. One of the folks that worked here that's eventually crossed over.
So how did you come?
I don't know this troublemaker guy, I don't remember his name, asked me to kind of tune in to the space through a map and then.
A rural area.
Yeah, and then I actually, asked two of my friends that are also psychic to kind of tune into it. And one of the girls from Canada seems to be a little bit stronger when it comes to potentially, finding artifacts. And she also looked at the map. She's the one that kind of pinpointed the area that found
Right. It took us to Richards.
Fine. Yeah, it's connection. Definitely, she saw military connection. She saw something that was deeper. But overall, I know it's not exactly within my wheelhouse of finding an object because I need to actually tune into spirit to find it. But I used at least my ability to talk to other psychics to kind of hone in and ask them to kind of help us out at the same time. But then also became the photographer sort of. And so I was there when he was digging and finding these things, and I filmed both of them.
So he provided us 10 points on this.
On the map.
We had no idea where there was anything to be found. So then Sean would take us to the location, give us a better pinpoint location, and then you and I would start coming back. And we thought, what was the premise behind the whole idea was? Go ahead.
Well, basically, very easy out of metal detecting and tying in the two disciplines, metal detecting and paranormal investigation. It seems like they go hand in hand, looking at history, we're looking at people, path, connections to items.
Potential trigger on us.
Yeah, exactly. Each one can beat the other. So that was the premise behind the show. We have one episode in the game.
2 and 1 in the cutting.
You were.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's all.
It was very much fun.
Yes.
A question from your stream here, Geeks Paranormal would like to know how many of you had served or veterans, and secondly, there's your 2 right there. And secondly, she would like to say, thank you for your service in the military. Really strong.
Mike back there.
Yep, got Mike back. Miss Holly herself. Miss Cat.
Thank you.
Yep.
So, one of the interesting finds that we, in different locations, kept coming up with 22 shells.
Yeah.
And we're thinking,
You gotta listen to this story.
22 shells. What the hell? Found a few in the front, found a few up in the front, and then we had somebody direct us over there behind it. And I found a whole pile of 22 shells.
Wow. I was involved with tuning in on this one, because I found quite a few.
Yeah. And we're thinking, you know, these aren't like BB guns, or why are they shooting these bullets around so close to such a populated place? And it didn't make sense to us, so we found them just about every time we went out to check, found them in odd locations. And so I started investigating how they would be rented here.
Initially thinking maybe it was part of the guys that was the close border or something, you know.
Yeah, but
From the DOC.
and they were fairly new, like the brand on the bottom, Remington, I think, or something. At any rate, we were finding them sporadically, but around the building, doing all this shooting. So that was kind of a mystery for a while. And I was talking with Brenda. Brenda said she knows about everything about this building and different alumni and different stories. So there's this story, I can't remember the monk's name, but he went up to, who was it? Father Schwinn. Yeah, huh?
I think that's what you were telling me.
Yeah, yeah. So he goes up to Father Schwinn one day. These pigeons are turbo. They're crapping on everything. They're ruining the paint, running down the hall. We need to do something about this. Oh, pigeons are an animal of God. So let them be. So then later on, the priest is heading from here over to one of the other buildings. Pigeon shit on his shoulder. He says, we gotta do something about these pigeons. So that priest was sitting around shooting pigeons. And that's where all the shells were. And while they were around the corners of the buildings, he'd wait for them to land. Good down. So I was able to put that together to a specific person. Through our investigation, finding random crap that they came up with and said, here's where you'll find it. And so it was working. It was a cool idea. And get this guy coming up with something more often. Do it again.
I don't know, it sounds like he's gonna go up and do some lay in and have fun here.
Yeah.
But I fall asleep.
So, that's the story behind it. Heard checklist.
Yeah, again, work in progress. You know, I've heard of a lot of conjecture of people saying that often people would put different metals, arcane refined metal or other metals in perimeters, and we're kind of hoping to find something that definitely connects on a spiritual level under the ground. We haven't really found, but we did find quite a few unique, interesting artifacts.
What's on that nuts first?
Yeah.
Copper first. The stamp.
There's a couple of places that we identified that we haven't actually had a chance. Underneath the sisters' quarters is one of them. Yeah. Because a couple of us did it underneath in that crawl space, so.
And I wanted to tell you, good point, don't underestimate the sister's house. If you guys want to go down in that basement and do an EP session or something like that, I can guarantee you will come up with some stuff. And I'll give you the plasma ball upstairs, and it'll react to your conversation. We had an amazing night down there. But nobody's done it.
Were you trying to do German?
Yeah, German.
You're doing German, speaking German.
Al and I had an experience that was very unique at the sister's house. These guys were all out eating dinner. Al and I were the only people in the sister's house at the time on the second floor. And he went into the bathroom. And I'm standing outside the bathroom just a little bit down the hall near the stairs, and I hear, hey. And I thought it was him. So I go, yeah, what do you want? He goes, what? Did you say something? He goes, no. Did you say something? I said, no. I said, did you hear something? He said, yes. And then it happened again, hey. And so I think it's this guy down there needing help bringing up a load of pies or something. So I yelled at Dennis, that you? So I went outside, went around the building, nobody, cars, nobody, I'm not just me and Al in the building. Went back in, and that was it. That's where we left it.
I was already downtown. And bye.
Yeah. They showed up about 30 minutes.
Place is crazy, especially when my suitcase got moved. Remember, it was moved from upstairs to downstairs.
I do have a doppelganger, and I do
Yeah.
places.
Yeah.
And last year, reminds me, Fruit Field and Grant and I went down, they used the necrophonics app, open, and that's when I didn't know his name was Ben. And came out, I said, who's standing down here? Said Ben, and I'm like, Ben. They're looking at each other like. Yeah, that was a good.
Actually, that's been popping up all this week.
Yeah. One of the crazy things that happened also, something that you can relate, that happened where somebody was. It's up to you if you want to relate that one.
Misty's got them.
What?
St. Teresa. Over at Williston, that's your state.
Yeah. What? Right.
Teresa, St. Teresa.
Yeah. Oh, you're asking.
So
me.
it's directly above,
I thought it was a story regarding that.
it's directly above Grand Reality. Where the most high.
Yeah.
And we were, this was just last year.
No, it's the year before, because I stayed in St. Teresa's room.
Yeah.
It was the year before.
Oh, year before?
Yeah.
That's.
So Connie was here. It was like Saturday night, 3:30 in the morning. I'm exhausted. I just want to go to bed. So I said, I'll go to sleep. And I'll hang around for half an hour. I'll leave. Because I knew she was going to go over to his sister's house by herself. And she says, okay. Plus, I was looking for an easy way to go to bed myself. So we get over there, and all she could do between the walk from here, I must have heard 100 times. I can't, I'm so tired. So we go in to the grand room. She sits down, we're talking. 5 minutes goes by, 15 minutes goes by, 30 minutes goes by. And I'm almost an hour later, thinking, you were exhausted. All you wanted to do was go to bed. Why are you keeping me up? So she finally says, well, I'm going to go up to bed. Great. So she goes up, she goes to bed. And like I said, I stayed about 20 minutes to make sure she was asleep. And then I went in and watched. So I come back. For all intent and purposes, we all understand the next morning, which was several hours later. And she's in there making some coffee or some tea or something in the kitchen. And I walk in the door and she goes, oh my God, you didn't hear anything, did you? What? She said, you didn't hear all that noise going on upstairs. I said, what are you talking about? She says, that's why I didn't go upstairs, because I could hear furniture moving and some things slamming. And she says, it sounded like somebody was tearing up there and tearing upstairs. And I was afraid to go up there to go to bed. And finally, I figured that I was either going to die of exhaustion, or they were going to get me. And at this point, I didn't care. I just went to bed. I said, no, I didn't hear a thing. Everybody knows I got such acute hearing. Right? So, about that time, Cindy came in. She was the one that was staying in the room. She says, I locked the door. I don't know why I did, but I locked the door when I went to investigate, so I know nobody got in my room. When I got up, the table was overturned, my bed was messed up, my makeup was all over.
Can you tell me this now?
Huh?
Yeah, by the way. Well, somebody was looking for their cat, so just to let you know. I don't know if there's your cat that you're looking for, but Huh? Yeah, right? Well, whoever said, where's my cat? So whether it was Archie or you.
So then, it was quite obvious that that's what funny and scary. Furniture being like somebody ransacking the room. And we figured, Sean and I figured out, it was probably the nun pissed off. Because they were about the vanity and the girly stuff. It was all about, the glory to God.
2 to 3 months after that, we went in there and it still smelled like.
We could still smell.
It was very, very strong.
Now, when I stayed last year, I didn't experience anything.
No,
Cindy, Cindy, if you're watching, change it. So, tell them the story.
Well, we thought, well, hey, let's try something, because we can literally still smell her perfume in there. And, the local gal that comes and helps every once in a while, along, she says, hey, I've got a bunch of makeup that I can donate to you. He wants to kind of set up a camera in the room and see where it goes. So he literally put it in the room, and how long did you record for?
About 48 hours, just like the camera.
Yeah, so, you can actually see this. He has this actually recorded, but.
So there's nobody in the sister's house for those 2 days, nothing going on. And I just got static cam, and I got one pointed towards the bed and one, pointed away from the doorway. You can see basically the entire.
You can see that makeup.
And nothing happened till the second day. And it was just after lunch, all of a sudden the IR camera flipped from daytime to nighttime, but it was fully lit, bright. And when it clicked over, you could hear the click of the camera.
Yeah. It sounds like.
and then again, you tell me this now.
It sounds like a growl. It really does, but it's the same, but at the same time, his stomach sounds like a growl.
Right? I think it would be now.
Greg, I mean, he did live like, very close. His stomach.
Right? Yeah.
All I know is it's a fascinating thing that happened, and it seemed to be triggered by this makeup. And
Girly girls.
yeah, the girly girl hit me.
Classic girly girl.
Like 3, I swear, 3 months maybe after she was on, it still smelled.
So take notes, Cindy.
Yeah. I mean, well, at the same time, she was getting off for her photo shoot with Rhonda, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she probably put it on several times with different outfits, so it's probably just overlaying of different things, because she was definitely doing a photo shoot here, so I'm sure that's part of the reason it smelled so strong.
Smell of death was that.
It was fine. It was next level strong, but that was really fascinating. I mean, it definitely was something that I think was interesting. Anything else? How do you guys feel about cryptids?
Well, they had that, if you guys saw the Enigmatic Explorers when they were in and doing their YouTube video, remember they saw that? We thought it was a crawler.
Oh, yeah.
Hanging over the potato cellar door.
Yeah, you're right,
There was 6 of them. They saw it hanging on top of the door looking at it.
About
And it got down. And it freaked them out so bad, they ended their investigation then. And ended up heading upstairs. And later he drew a picture, and I'll throw it up on my Discord or on my house where everybody can see it. I think it's probably there now, but anyways, he did this drawing. And it was incredible.
Yeah.
It looked more alien than it did,
Well, in the basement when another team was coming in, I think there were only like 4 or 5 of them, and they were setting up cameras in the basement low. Remember, that's why we changed the imagery of kind of, let's get down the hallway low first.
Yeah.
You
just want to see what's bad.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly. They were setting up their DVR system right in between the potato cellar and the long hallway. And I was watching DVR because he was, I was trying to see how he was, what angles he was going to look at and so forth. And I swear this wolf-like creature, it was pure black. It looked exactly like a wolf. It went across from the Native American area across the hallway and then you see it come back across. He was not recording it.
Yeah, he was just setting up his equipment.
I'm telling you, it looked just, there were three of us that saw this, the three, but there were two ladies with me.
Stuff like that can happen.
That?
Yeah, yes. Back, you can come up and tell that story. You're gonna have to speak up because I can't.
Oh, we can try to see which one.
The one where we set up you had your IR camera set up. And then Tara from Kentucky had her recorder, I had my recorder sitting in the same.
It's the one at Unicorn Hall, right? We talked about before.
Yeah, we were over at Unicorn before it was.
Before it was open house. So I think it was May and March was the second one,
The second one.
which was probably a little years ago.
Yeah.
So this is a chance.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So I had, I do this little method where I build to set up like doors actually. And I take it and I put it in the location and I set it and forget it. So basically I got to teach them weeks for uniform at night. And we left them in there for about 3-4 hours. You know, we slammed the door after we left, so we knew nobody was in there. And we reviewed the evidence that night. We saw that the cameras were running for about an hour. Then the IR light went off. Then you started to see the camera did its life. You know, then after that, so
Yeah.
Oh, God. It was a double shot.
Yeah.
Goes without saying.
But after that, we started hearing these kids screaming, and it was multiple kids. They were screaming, no.
Bouncing it.
Yeah. Basketball being so good, and you're like very dark, and it's just screaming like that. You know, it's
And not only did he catch it on video, but your sound was the best of all three because it was closer to that.
whatever was left, I caught it from the audience for camcorder and also
But I think everybody here has been to Woodlawn. There's no kid's gonna be in there at 5 o'clock in the morning. And that's when we captured over a half an hour. Kids playing.
Scared the crap out of me. Waiting for you that night. I was all excited. Remember, you gotta listen to this. It just
Yeah.
That was for us, oh, yeah, that's definitely before they even started doing it. There was no power in there at that point. Yeah. There was no, they had no electricity in it.
That's the thing, we called in because police having a problem with the alarm going off. The power unit, so you know off, and nothing was going off. But they were getting an alarm down at the station and they would set it up to check it out.
And the caretaker would have to come down, open it up.
Yeah, they do a certain.
And they would see furniture move across, shadow figures go from one room to the other to get down, there was nobody in that room. And they said, we don't want to go back. It's your problem.
Yeah.
But nothing compared to stuff that goes on in distance
Over at Willithorn, the last event that we had here, we were doing Estes method. And so we had them way down the hallway and we're sitting in that main room and we whispered, can you come into this room so we can hear you better? And all of a sudden, like, I don't know, 30 seconds later, he yells down from down there. It's like, I just saw a shadow walk past the doorway that you're in. So that was pretty cool because they can't hear what we're saying, right? I mean, they've got headphones on, so.
I saw somebody in that version.
Did you really?
Whatever happens in Woodlawn, there's not a story that's crazy enough that I won't believe. Because
Yeah.
we saw some pretty crazy stuff.
John and I heard the phone ring. Oh, yeah, here. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was not just us, there was four of us. I don't know the other two, you know, they were just, we're stuff.
Wasn't it twice? You read it twice? Yeah.
They had just finished the hunt house, so they were kind of breaking down and everything in that area. So we were trying to go through some of their actual haunted house stuff to see if they had some device that was triggering, doing something like that. Well, I couldn't identify anything. You remember you came down with us, trying to help us debunk it, where the heck it came from. That's happened before too, some years with the haunted house, right here in county. They were in that storage room. Somebody was something like that. Listen, but also the guy county had to come on the report. Oh, you were on the yeah, we were talking about. Yeah. And we were reading, and then county checked their phone recorder. I think the Johnson's down the meatball. There's no phone. This is a very intriguing situation with a lot of different history and a lot of different interesting things that happen. Interesting is Richard's favorite return. And I learned it when I can't identify what's flowing. It's interesting. Yeah. That's the way it goes. But you know, overall, I don't think there's been a few cases, but overall, I don't think there's anything to be afraid of. I don't think there's anything. Well, the main thing I think is that we have to avoid other people bringing in stuff, carrying stuff with them. And that happens. Yeah, so. We know immediately when things change in here. Well, but at the same time, you have monks, you have priests, you have folks that were clergy that were watching over this, and now they're still watching over this, afterwards. And if somebody brings in something with them, there's going to be a little bit of tension. Hello. And so there's often, I believe personally, that's how we get a little bit of the change in the energy.
Anybody got any questions for any of us? Got one here. So, amateur enthusiast, somebody who would be getting into paranormal investigation or would be interested in pursuing the field. The question is, what would be for each of you the one piece of equipment, if you could only take one piece of equipment, what would it be?
Let me start that one. Yourself.
Just a piece.
Number one, because you need to get to know how your body reacts to things. And, like I've encountered cold spots, hot spots, all sorts of different energy that interact with me directly. Just begin to understand how things work. I personally believe you need to document what happens, where it happens. And for me, it's best if if you're going to actually do this, take paper and pencil and along with anything else you're going to do equipment-wise that they may suggest. But your body is one of the best things because it's that fight or flight. It knows when you shouldn't go down the hallway or when something is off. It's going to tell you, hey, something's different. That's the number one thing you should do is get to know, practically go into the spaces. If you want to hang out with us, you can kind of learn to identify things when it comes to what's a little bit different. Like when we go upstairs to the fourth floor and interact with such a beautiful child that's here. She's only been so super kind to us, right? And there's no negativity in it, and there's no nothing. But at the same time, I can actually know when she's interacting. So you get to kind of know and what your sense is, because some people get immediately, they get the hair standing up. Like, did you have that? What was it? Yeah. Wanty had the complete, it was just, so everybody's body reacts differently. A couple of the psychics I worked with on the team would get something on the back of their neck, like they would feel whenever they were around spirits. So you have to get to know how your body's reacting to spirits.
Same thing like using gauss. You got to.
Yeah.
That's what I teach people. Use the equipment at first. Go in with your body and let your body tell you where to go.
Yeah. But then, of course, we have other rules. What's your favorite?
Pretty much all I do is film, really the camera. I don't ever listen to my EVP
I was doing something. I did. I miss so much. I miss so much. I'll be listening to it. Now that I'm doing the way back Wednesdays on my Twitch stream, I'm revisiting investigations that I did 10, 15 years ago. And I'm going, oh my God, if I heard that, my ass out of there. But I never went back to listen to media. I didn't hear it until today, 15 years later. I highly recommend that if there's one piece, take a look. I don't care if it's just your phone. Phones are so high tech now. They make great recorders. You don't need a $200 CAT scan. Use your phone. They'll record everything. And then take the time to go back and listen to it. You'd be amazed. Stuff you hear in the background. So many times we're just sitting around having a conversation like we are now, and you got somebody in behind us going, yeah. And they're adding their 2 cents. You don't even hear them audibly. That report.
Picks up another point that's really kind of important. Because a lot of times they like to inject into our conversation when we're maybe goofy or silly or having fun. They want to have fun too. Laugh at us or, talk at us, different things.
You guys have seen all of us investigate enough too. We cut it up. We don't keep it on a serious level. It's not about business, We're interacting with other people.
That will show perspective. What about you, Rich? What's your
I think it's real seriously, for me, the camcorder, a good high def camcorder and a good quality IR light doesn't have to be a ghost light by itself. But for me, that gets you 2 pieces in one. You've got the audio on the camera, and I've got so many EVPs just off the audio on the camera. And then you've got visual verification going on in the area, at least before in front of the camera. So you can see if the noise of somebody's care, or, things like that, if it's in the field of view of the camera.
Or throwing rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or in the kitchen on camera.
They forget that the IR can see everything, even in pitch black. They can see everything, and if you had a guest last one night, we had to
kick her out.
And then they're cheap. Get a decent camera on eBay or Amazon. I get it.
Kind of like
Night vision.
one that she could get from that festival.
Oh, yeah. If I go.
Yeah.
So you get a decent camera and then have a good quality image, much more likely to get something in it. Or you want something that
Right.
You don't want to keep around or just eliminate things that are less possible.
See, we went to hold the people's night.
I don't know. I think
really
this is
did
all-
that, like,
It's
for
wrong anyways,
Yeah.
Like you're saying, you can get all this. But if I had a piece of equipment, it's one to bring, it's that. Maybe that's, yeah. No, the best thing I could ever say is giving those families a chance to say goodbye to their loved ones. If you guys want a tearjerker, I had a case in Wichita Falls, Texas, all right? And I had just gotten back, I go before that, I think it was Vermillion, Kansas, and I just got home and, I got an email, 16-year-old girl, her mom was murdered right in front of her. And, it happened a month before I went out there. It wasn't that long. And she's like, I've been touched in the shower, my doors are open and closing. And she's like, can you please help me? Yeah, of course. So hopped in the car, drove down there, met her brother. He was older, so I, had him sign all the waivers and stuff. And just the fact that I was able to communicate with their mother, and the cat balls went off on cue, and you could hear her saying thank you. The whole I go live. I go live, so this stuff is happening. As I said, I think that's the best way, because you can't because you're seeing it. That's
And so I was live, and this whole family, 10 people behind me, and hearing the mom come through and saying, I love you. And it's okay. If they had questions, I was asking their questions, and they're getting responses. And then on the final day of the investigation, I just let it go, just let the SB7 go in the room, and I gave each of them, 10 minutes to go in there and say goodbye. And I love you. Every time they walk in, they come out crying. So, and it was just them. So these are people that don't invest, but they were able to intune themselves to say goodbye to them.
That's some closure.
Yeah, that's my favorite case. Like, if I ever doubt what I do, like, that's my video I'll watch to get me ready. So that's hard for me. Sometimes you can never go to the police. The mental or the partners, like your rope that you carry with you, those things, so you kind of in.
Any more questions, Jason?
I got just back here. Just,
I got a question. So, for you guys, in your opinion, where do you pull the most activity out? Private residence or historical locations?
I'll start. I don't think there's any one place. I don't think you can pin it down to it. And again, sometimes I think it's more about than the place. I've met people that have recurring experiences regardless of where they live. So, yeah, I'm sure Waverly Hills is more haunted than somebody's home. Not necessarily. It could be anywhere, anything.
Yeah,
That's just my opinion.
I'm on the same wavelength with that because, like if you have a child spirit that wants to connect with somebody who comes in, that's more of a mother, he's not going to interact with somebody that's got a mean, tough voice, but will definitely connect you. You don't know, so it all depends on the situation that you're coming in. Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum I went to, let's just say, I think it's one of the most haunted I've ever been to. But that doesn't mean that the amount of interaction I've had in some home cases were just as crazy. But at the same time, overall quantity wise, obviously Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum wins counts down. But at the same time, it's how the interaction has happened with them, the situation. It could be either way. Could be actually the energy, the amount of energy that somebody's putting into it. I had a case recently, the same thing, where it's very, very, very powerful empath that is gonna imbue a lot of energy into the environment. It's gotta generate a lot. And I think it was based on her, not necessarily spirit as much. But there were several losses in the family that were very close to the husband. And so it was kind of a close connection.
One thing,
Sorry. I investigated the whole Montana State Prison. I did that with just 2 of us. It was a great experience, but I've also gone to the homes and nobody's ever investigated. Nobody's been there through the first wall and bring that energy, because of your experience. A lot of times it is really loved ones that are just trying to reach out to them. 95%, and the family's struggling, with the loss or whatever they're struggling with. Maybe they're financially not stable. There's a lot of things, a lot of factors go into it. So that's not an easy question to actually answer.
That's one thing that I've discovered through my road trips, and I know I haven't been traveling the last couple of years, but that up until I parked up here, I did 2 years of solid abandoned exploration, and it would turn into overnight investigations all over the United States, and I would move from town to town, space to space. I'd see that old barn out there, and I'd go out there and park up. I'd see a little factory, park up, and all the time I was by myself. So I learned that a lot of the haunted locations and the serious, there's certain factors. Trans-Allegheny, and there's reasons why they're so intensely on it. But one thing that the Abbey, I can say, has taught me is kind of changed my perspective. I don't think you have to have a horrific death or something traumatic happen to you. Because if you think about it, I would like to think, and I think this is what this has taught me, is that you go back to a place of comfort and somewhere where you feel safety, even after death. I think you go back to your comfort zone. And this is a fond memory for a lot of different spirits. And they come back here and they revisit it and they stay here because this is their sanctuary. And homes, like JK was saying, I had a lot of experiences in private homes, and I wouldn't call them hauntings. Jason, the house, the old farmhouse where the print shop was extremely, if you want to look at it that way. We had a nurse and a little boy we all saw all the time. In fact, found out who she was in the end. But it's again everybody's perspective, how you perceive things, but I think it's the point I guess I'm trying to make is it doesn't have to be a horrific ending. A terrible. Nobody's going to hang around the door. That's where you died. That's where they sucked the blood. That was the end. I want to think that I'm back in the house of bondage or something.
Yeah. I think the Stanley Hotel, people go back there, you know, because it's a beautiful location or a good memory or something of that nature. But like I said, a lot of times I wouldn't consider this a haunting if a loved one's visiting. Because I do readings and loved ones visit in my reading. Does that mean wherever I'm reading haunted? No, it means they're visiting. Just like the session, you know, my house isn't haunted. I talk to spirit every week down in my basement.
I do believe in omnipresence too.
That's true. There. And at the time, there's no necessarily.
Which year was this place abandoned?
Anybody?
We didn't hear much.
What year was this place abandoned?
Here?
Yes.
It wasn't truly.
It was never really abandoned, but it was desanctified in 1992.
So they didn't necessarily just kind of leave it. They just turned it over.
Something from growing up from a very early age. I was kind of predisposed, like I said, to a lot of this investigations and stuff. And I know when I was young, however, of course, I've read this and we've had conversations, but we had a home that was the old Wadsworth Ranch home that was extremely active. And I have some of my very early childhood memories of me being in my crib. And I have vivid, very memories of a girl dancing or a ballerina in my room dancing with me. And I still have it to this day, like yesterday, 45 years old now. Like it's a picture, it still gives me like goosebumps and my hair raising on my arms. And he said that, you know, during that time that we were in this home, that I would be up talking things and active and
O'clock in the morning, sitting there rocking and talking.
right. And that same home, wasn't it the same one where you would come out and the pans would be out of the cabinets?
You want to tell that story, it's unbelievable to me. And if you would be telling that story, I would think, shit. What had happened to us? Very small house. It was not a very big house. It was probably 900 square feet. And it was basically a room where Jason's room was, master bedroom, went into the bathroom, went into the kitchen, and back out to the living room. That was pretty much the house. And it was, again, here's what happened. I was into photography. I did black and white photography. It's the old Ben Wadsworth House. Wadsworth Boulevard, everybody knows.
The pink house?
One of the main streets.
Or old Wadsworth?
Denver.
Was it Old Wadsworth or Wadsworth?
Wadsworth Boulevard was named after Ben Wadsworth.
Right.
He had the
But there's
Wadsworth
like,
Ranch.
but like,
I know where you're talking about.
Pink
The house was on
freaking, yeah.
the original town. Um, the house was actually the ranch hand's house for Ben Wadsworth. And if you went outside the house, there's two foundations, approximately 10 or 16 feet. That went north and south, and there was one that went west. Turned out that that was the bunkhouse where the farmers' kids always stayed in one house, the girls stayed in the other. So I'm into black and white photography. And you went out the old steps, went down the steps to the cellar door, but they enclosed all that in. And you would go down the cellar steps, and I wanted to put a darkroom down there. But even as short as I still had the crowd lean over to be able to do anything. So I asked the owner if I could dig out the third floor so that I could at least make a little square patch that I could set up my marker and stuff. He didn't care. So every night I get off work, I come home and I start digging in this cellar. And part of the deal too was I was fixing up the house as part of my rent, so I was doing some renovation as well. And I dug up first some old metal cars and stuff like that, and then I came up with in plastic there was a bunch of photographs, and I found a obituary of Davy Crockett, the road. And so I started investigating a little further and asked the homeowner, the property owner, and said, first off, what are all those things? And that's when he told me that they were the bunkhouses for the kids. And when the plague came through, like 3/4 of the kids died. Oh, wow. So Mom started hearing things. And I dug up that burial stuff unknowingly. That's when the stuff started happening. Jason started walking around in his crib. And it's surprising to me because he was so young. He could walk, kind of talk.
Well, that is the point, children when they continue, because they don't know how to shut it off, and we're on it back then, more intense than now, it's like EMF fields are everywhere. They are disruptive.
The story that you mentioned the pots and pans, this happened twice. We go to bed, lay down, and there are a couple, you could go either way, circular around the house. Laying in bed, I could be at any point in the house in 3 seconds, 5 seconds, tops. We're laying in bed, all of a sudden we hear, jump out of bed, I run through the bathroom, this is the quickest way to get to the kitchen. And I looked and all the pots and pans were sitting in the middle of the room. That's weird. And then I wasn't having a whole lot I was into it, but not into it. And then it was probably about a month and a half later. Here, laying in bed, going, it didn't take me 5 seconds to get to the kitchen, and all those pots and pans were stacked. Now, for me to hear that story from you, I'd say crazy or why. Honestly, it happened. The door was to it. And then some of the stuff that I was doing in the house. There was an old window, like I say, you could go down into they built over the cellar door, kind of a little mud room. You had to go through the back door, go out of the house, or you could go down into the cellar. So the old window used to sit there, so I made it like a little cabinet. So you opened up the window and you had a place to slide your, dishes and whatever you wanted to put in there. And the day after I finished that little project up, I go to lock the back door, and it has doors like these here, the old skeleton key door thing. And then they had the deadbolt knob. And just like any knob, they turn, 90 degrees this way or 90 degrees this way. They don't do 360. So I went to go hit that deadbolt, right? And that doorknob started spinning. Went faster. And I'm thinking to myself, Dad, because I'm pretty young too. And I'm thinking, what the hell's going on here? Doorknobs are spinning. And I debated that I should open up the door and see what's behind me. I just kind of reached out and flipped the deadbolt lock and went to bed. I didn't want to find out. But that was probably the creepiest place we've ever been.
We answered your question.
Okay. He's got to go. He's got a party. He's got to meet you in Colorado Springs. This is the party kind of guy.
That's good.
Yeah, let me straw before. This is for the S box. And the winner is. I don't know if batteries are included. Sunny. Boy, you guys are the winners today. He gets the bracelet, Mom gets the S. I think I know who's gonna end up with the S. Come on up here and get this for your mom. And we didn't rig this, guys. I swear. Yeah.
You wrapping up the panel for now, or?
Yeah, we can wrap it, yes. Anybody got any questions or? Or we kept you in agony?
That's 5 o'clock, I think, it's pretty good.
Okay. Well then, yeah, it's dinner time. We'll meet here about 9 o'clock again. You guys are welcome to start investigating whenever you want to.
Are you guys doing the picture still?
We'll
6 o'clock?
Picture.
Oh, yeah, at 6 o'clock, Misty wanted everybody to wear their shirts and get a group photograph.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Time frame of.
Please,
Yeah.
Also go over there and get some recording pictures.
6 o'clock here, so now we're back in the chapel.
I'm just planning on 9 o'clock, we'll just start.
No, the picture, what do you want us for the picture?
Oh, 6 o'clock here.
At the chapel.
Right here.
Actually, I think wanted to do it on the back step of the library there.
Copy. Okay.
Yeah, but
6 o'clock here.
We'll be your library, how about that? 6 o'clock. Library. Sorry.
Why we going to the village?
All right, guys, I'm gonna mute this Discord thing here, and then I'm gonna go up and take care of everything from command. So I'll see you up there in just a moment, guys. All right, guys, back in command. Let me adjust some stuff here real quick. Maybe. Probably not. There's that. And let's just go ahead and go back to the command scene there. There we go. Hello, we're back. So guys, thanks for coming out. That was the panel for today. Hope you guys enjoyed coming out and seeing Rich and JK, Dennis, obviously, and Sean, and everybody else who was able to participate and add their stories and their opinions and their questions and everything. It was pretty cool, pretty insightful, fun information.
I'm going to be here next year because today is our last day here.
Yep, tonight's the last night for us here at Mayhem, so he's looking forward to next year already. And it's Mr. Kylan's birthday tomorrow, so tonight at midnight we should be up and it'll be his birthday day. So yeah, we're having a lot of fun up here. Again, if you guys think of anything, have any questions or any of that, Geeks, I know you had asked for information for Dennis, so I'll make sure I get you that here after I damn words, I'm telling you. After I end the stream here, I will send you a PM through here with all of his contact information. That way you can reach out to Dennis and you can kind of set up anything you need to set up, or, you know, whatever you need to do. And again, if there's anybody else here in chat that also has those types of needs or desires and would like to talk to somebody or like information for somebody, again, don't be afraid to ask or reach out, because we'll be more than happy to provide you with that type of information that you're looking for. So, again, thank you guys for hanging around for the past 4 or 5 hours, watching the stream, supporting my dad. He really does appreciate it, and it really is a great passion of his, and he really does enjoy it. So, much love to you guys. Really do appreciate it. We're going to be back reconvening for the investigation. It sounds like Dad is looking at kicking things off on a full tilt type of thing around 9 p.m. But my assumption is we'll probably start the stream early so we can come in here and make sure things are up and operational and good to go before things get really hot and heavy around here. So we will probably be live here, would be around 7:30 would be my guess. So everyone's going to go kind of take a refreshment break, get some dinner, you know, relax a little bit, and then we'll get the party started for the evening festivities here in a couple hours. So hang around, come back and visit. Like I said, and again, much love and appreciation to everybody. Zombie, thank you guys. Para, Geeks, you guys, thank you so much for being out here. So we'll see you in a few hours. Much love. Have a good night. See you in a bit.
Sorry you guys didn't get to see me too much right now, but I'll see you again.
Yeah, we'll see you again. All right. Bye, guys.